Kind of nice guy
by
as well.
Taco. Twice, I think.
Didn't you 16 hours as well?
I was out of the team then, man. I left. You boshed my boys and me on train and cobble.
I remember it was E-League, right?
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, we got
happens to everyone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, coldzera is the guy who got who got 16 of the most. He knows.
Add some fun to your space with Xtrfy, designed in Sweden with focus on quality products built on experience. You're looking at Project 4, their 4th generation of products with super cool colorways to stand out, with matching sets to satisfy with a solid B4 bungee, lightweight ergonomic M4 mouse, the K4 keyboard is fantastic, all of which are performance focused, and finish it off with colorful GP4 mouse mats that are bold in design and smooth on the surface. The retro theme in particular has got the feels. Complete your setup with Xtrfy. No regrets guaranteed.
Bomb has been planted.
Hey buddy, let me show you how to fix that. Bitskins.com. Buy and sell skins instantly. Deposit and withdraw funds instantly with crypto or directly to your Visa card. Woohoo! Bitskins.com, the best skin marketplace.
N1Bet is here to make your world brighter. Bet anytime, anywhere. Just go to n1bet.com and get your free bet with promo code HLTV. When everything is clear and transparent, playing is pleasure. n1bet.com. Your bet, your game.
We're live. We're back with HLTV Confirmed. We skipped a week last week, so hopefully you missed us. My mum always says distance makes the heart grow fonder, and maybe absence does too. I'm sure we could crowbar that in there. Anyway, welcome back to HLTV Confirmed. A quick shout out to the sponsors, Xtrfy, Bitskins, and of course, N1Bet. Remember to gamble responsibly. On tonight's show, we have Taco. You can see him. He's with us already. He's right here. But we're going to dive into all things Brazilian Counter-Strike 00 Nation very shortly. I got to introduce the regular panel. Now, Lucas, you're here driving the ship. Did you enjoy having a day off last week?
Yeah.
Yes, we didn't, because we didn't. You always work. You're always working. Well,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I did something else.
You did less work, or you did more work?
I just did something else. Other work.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Lucas never stops. That's why Martin has him chained up in the basement to a computer at all times in his house. On the weekends, Lucas actually has to look after Martin's kids.
It's safest for everyone, I think.
Good that way. Thank you for your service, Lucas. We really enjoy the fact that you do not email the police department in Denmark. All right. Well, Prof, we got you here, and I know that you're head of drama around here. So I want to know how you felt about XQC's breakup with Adept live on stream. Did that rattle you to the core?
One of the top 7 biggest dramas of the week, I feel like.
Definitely up there.
Top 7. There's a lot going on these days in the live stream fails, in the esports fails, in the Counter-Strike fails. Everyone's failing this week, so it's been a lot. It's been
a lot to take in. Striker, how do you feel about? Were you contacted by Slicker for money? Did he ask you for money? Were you part of the $300,000 plus scam? I just want to know.
I did not. No.
Okay. All right.
But well, don't they know that you're going to get €1,000 for free from this individual on my right? They should contact you.
I already paid him. He's already paid.
I got paid on the day that yeah.
I'm like PGL. I pay instantly. I don't fuck around. If you owe the money, you get the money. All right, pimp. If you send me your PayPal, you get the money. You didn't send me the PayPal, so you have to wait. All right, that's it. All right, Taco. Do you have any idea what we're talking about with any of this drama nonsense?
I have no idea, to be honest.
Okay, that's good. You should keep it that way because, mate, you should see these fucking big streamers in America just trying to kill each other online. Like I'm taking a bit of hyperbole there saying kill, but they're just like launching nukes at each other every day. It's crazy out there.
I just saw some stuff on the HLTV forums, and there was some guy leaking DMs from like 4 years ago where someone used the N-word. I'm
it's
like,
really
okay.
bad.
And everyone's in there like explaining what's going on. I'm like, interesting. Let's look at the simple clips.
Yeah, we'll get to the simple drama, I'm sure, a little bit later. Maybe we kept tabs on that. Taco, I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but it is Tuesday, which is Taco Tuesday, and we've planned this perfectly. How do you feel about tacos? Because I guess you probably have been asked this question maybe 100 times.
Yeah, you are right.
Yeah.
Well, I was never a fan of tacos. It's not my favorite food, and Mexican food is also not my favorite food.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm weird, I would say.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Like I'm a sponge. I'm not really a big fan of sponges either. So look, let's roll the bumper. Let's get into the hot seat and let's get into some serious questions with Taco. Get to it, Luke. All right, we're back and the seat is hot. Well, we'll keep it warm, right? We don't want to burn anybody here tonight. We'll see how the show goes. Taco, thank you for joining us. First and foremost, before we get into talking about the 00 Nation situation, the GODSENT stuff, where are you right now? What's going on?
Hello, guys. Hello, everyone watching at home. It's a big pleasure for me to be here. It's my second time here, so
yes,
it means you guys liked the first one. Thank you, guys.
Hey, look, when we can get a multi-major winner and Brazilian legend on the show, mate, we're definitely going to take the opportunity, especially with Rio coming up. And we're looking where you are right now. You mentioned to us before you're in Germany right now.
Yeah, we planned our boot camps differently this time. We tried to focus on a little bit of life quality as well. We started our season in Brazil playing the RMR Open, and we had a very small preparation. We were just after vacation, after the break, the players break. We had a week of preparation, but I'm happy that we were able to qualify in the first one, the first Open qualifier, which gave us a lot of time to plan and practice with calm. So what we decided to do was going to Portugal right after Brazil. Portugal is a place that you play with 60-50 MS, which is not really, really good. But we could, in Portugal, we feel good. We have a lot of life quality. We have food that we like to eat. People speak our languages, our language. I mean, it's just different. And then we spent 15 days in Portugal, but also practicing against EU teams and getting used again to their level and rhythm, which is a bit different. And then after these 15 days, we are here in Germany, and then we're gonna have another 15 days of practice with five MS, which is great. Then we can just focus on the tournament, and when we play the closed IMR to the major, we're gonna be, like hot. We're gonna be feeling good and confident, and I mean, I'm just feeling good about the way we did things.
It sounds like a lot of lead time, mate. That sounds really good. Like 30 days of practice in Europe before a massive event like the RMR for the major in your own country. It sounds like you guys have been using the time really, really well.
Yeah, we are a new team, right? When we built this 00 Nation lineup right before DreamHack Valencia, we had only 7 days of practice or something like that. So we, after Cologne was a players break, so we didn't have much time to practice as well. So it's more like, okay, guys, we're starting now. Let's get to work and let's build something good here.
All right. Well, yeah, hit it, Striker.
Here's one question now that you mentioned the RMR and the only having a week to prepare for it. Last time you had to qualify through North America. This time it wasn't possible, and you had to go to South America. Which one's harder?
South America was definitely harder, being really fair. It's not, I mean, I don't want to roast NA or something like that, but NA was kind of not easy, but was the level of challenge was not as big as in Brazil. We had maybe 10 or 12 teams in Brazil fighting for that spots.
Do you think it's good now? Because like when you look back with your progression into top tier Counter-Strike, you kind of built the way for these other teams not to have to go live in North America like you had to back in the day. That must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it's not that we loved being away from home and living in ENA. We didn't choose that. It was more like we needed to do that. We needed to be there, and we needed to play CS, and that's what we wanted to do. So of course, obviously, we were there because we wanted to, but also to play Counter-Strike, at least at my time, there was no way to play in South America, and being able to do it now, it feels really great, feels really good. I'm not sure if the young guys, know this, but yeah, it's something else. Like living away from home for many years could be difficult.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's jump back in the timeline here a little bit. Let's talk about when it went from GODSENT, right? Because you'd built this project, right? It was, you had Dead there, you had all the boys there, everything was looking good, trending quite nicely. And then this transition to 00 Nation came in, where you reunited with Cold. Obviously, Tri came across with Cold as well. Well, I guess you guys came to 00 Nation, but the majority of your GODSENT team came to 00 Nation. So the merging of the minds here. Can you kind of fill us in how this all came about?
Yeah, it was more GODSENT becoming 00 Nation than 00 Nation becoming GODSENT, because we just brought everything that we have, not only players, but all the staffs and coach, analysts, and everyone that was working with GODSENT in CSGO, manager, staffs and everyone. So we really liked what we were doing there. We didn't want to just move to another organization and finish the path. So it was more like 00 Nation, 00 Nation becoming GODSENT in a way, and coldzera and Tri joining our system. Let's put it like that.
Okay, all right. That's a nice way to frame it there.
What was the main motivation then behind moving the organizations essentially?
Well, in GODSENT, we were not. With 00 Nation, we would have more structure, to be fair. Not that we didn't have in GODSENT, because they just did everything they could to. We had a boot camp. We could travel a lot. We had a great time in GODSENT, but we wanted more, and we felt like that we needed something different. So, and it was actually not. It was not the players or me or anything in the organization. It was just a lot of organizations sending us offers. We had a lot of offers from NA teams, not only me, but my players as well. So it got to a point that we had to do something to stick together, because GODSENT is not a big organization with a lot of money that we see in NA, or even some orgs in EU as well. So to stick together to get to continue our project, we had to do this move, and I'm happy that 00 Nation. I feel like they are the right place. I hope so.
Yeah. Well, look, was this a conversation that was had like with coldzera and you, or like was Dead in like how? Because it's a curious one, because it's like GODSENT's been absorbed by 00 Nation, kind of by what you're explaining here, and it makes sense because 00 Nation can offer you more in terms of resources. But I'm just curious, like how this conversation started, because you mentioned if some of your other players were getting messages from
essentially, yeah.
I understand that is that like Dead getting on the offensive? Is that Cold going, yo, my team's not working out with these guys? Like, how did that all unfold?
Yeah, 00 Nation, their team, their CSGO team was destroyed, not destroyed, but they would just split up everyone. And coldzera didn't. coldzera had the organization. He was with 00. They wanted to build something around coldzera. And coldzera just, I think they sent a message to Dad or something like that, and that's how it started. But the first plan was not to have Tri. Tri didn't want to come to our team. He was not happy in 00 Nation, not the org, but with the old lineup. He was not happy playing there, and he just wanted to come back to his country and do something else. So the first team that we was joining 00 Nation was 4 of GODSENT, including Bartin, Lato, Dumau, and me. And we would just join coldzera in 00 Nation. And after a week of talks, Try changed his mind, and we just decided to not leave Bartin. I mean, it was really difficult for me. This change was in my CS career was one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult. I had to stay home like 3 days without talking to anyone. I was really sad. I really loved the guy. He was a really good worker, a really good player, improving every day, a nice human being. So I felt really bad to leave him, to leave him behind. And in a way, that's what happened. But that in another way, that's how it had to be. So it made a lot of sense having Try in our lineup because he's a sniper. We didn't have a Alper.
I remember from last time we talked, you were like, "Yeah, everyone's open. Everyone who wants to AWP can AWP in the old roster." Now you've got a primary AWPer, so that must be a nice little change for everybody.
Yeah. So I mean, at the time, that's what I had. I had to work with 5 players that nobody was a sniper, so I had to make it work. So definitely having a chance to have a actual Alper is very different, and I'm enjoying a lot playing with Try.
Is it better in this system? I know you were pretty optimistic about the previous system, having a little bit less predictability. How do you look at that now, having a sniper when you spend so much time not really having one?
It's just too OP, the weapon. It's you have to have someone that is specialist on that weapon in your team. Of course, that not having a main sniper in GODSENT, I'm not the guy that will complain. I will just try to make it work, and I tried. We made a lot of stuff like double op setups. I mean, for a team without a sniper, having a double op setup could be something different. We tried a lot. We tried many things. We tried people randomly buying the op and playing their positions when they wanted to. Then we wanted to fix some positions that we really need a sniper for someone to. I mean, I was helping on Dust, for example, and I learned a lot. It was good. I mean, talking about in my individual part, it was really important. I got to play with the sniper. I played against great teams, and I was helping on T side on Dust, and I feel like I know a lot. I'm even giving tips to Try sometimes.
It's a different perspective though, right? Like once you get to use it yourself and you focus on it a little bit more, it definitely would probably give you a different perspective on how you wanted to use an AWPer or the limitations on the AWPer in your team. But I think the big one here that everybody's excited to know how this works is coldzera's addition to the team, right? There was actually a question. Let me see if I can bring this one up. It might take me a moment to find it. But from let's pair this one with the relationship that you and Cold have had over the years. But back when the SK Luminosity days, you two were the duo, right? Like you were the selfless player who would help enable Cold. You're always there, and a lot of people would speak about that duo in that way. And now you're back together after all these years. What was that like, getting to reunite in that fashion?
Well, to be really fair, I was not planning to play with Code again. I was doing my thing, and I was just looking at looking at what was in front of me. It was not planned, but when the chance appeared, of course we had a talk. We played for many years before together, and there are a lot of stuff that were left behind in terms of negative stuff. So the first thing I did was washing the clothes, cleaning the dirty. We had a talk. Stuff that we didn't want to repeat about the past, stuff that I think that is not wrong, stuff that I think is not wrong, is not right, stuff that I think that we did bad on the past as well. So that was my first move. For me to play with Code again, I think we should fix some stuff, and that's what I did. That's my first move playing with coldzera. So we talked a lot, we discussed a lot. I explained him the system that we had in GODSENT, how we work, the way we like to work, and he was very happy. His feedback was also really good. He has a lot to add in the team in terms of experience, to help me, to guide the guys, to be the second caller in game. He was really good doing that and helping Fallen at my time. So right now I'm after a month, 2 month playing with Code now. I'm enjoying it a lot, and the thing is, he works really hard. I work really hard too. So we are always talking CS. We are always watching CS. We are always playing CS. We are putting a lot of hours in game, and last time we did that, we had a lot of success. So I'm hoping that we can find this success again, and that we are just working hard.
In what way is it different, compared to before when you were working with Code? Obviously, your role has changed a lot, and you have a lot more authority over, let's say, over him as well. As the in-game leader of this team, while before it was Fallen who had that job. So how's the dynamic changed between you two? You were always looked at as like this buddy duo that like everybody kind of liked because you guys liked each other. So how is that different now?
Yeah, it's weird, right? But he really joined our system. He respects a lot what the in-game leader says. He respects a lot our coach. He respects a lot our analyst. I mean, I feel like he's in the right place to just focus on working hard and being not as good as before, because it's really difficult, and CS changed a lot, and the style that he played before is a style that everyone nowadays can play, and so it's different now. It's different, and I'm happy that he understands that, and he's doing his best to help the team.
So is that like a trans? Yeah, you want to go, Prof? I think we're maybe going to ask the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my question was, so were the problems that you kind of have to go through and figure out, was that then connected to like him being maybe too vocal or trying to take control of the team or stuff like that, or something else?
Yeah, we don't have problems with that. To be really fair, since the big, I had this fear. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I had this fear in the beginning, but it's just not a thing anymore. Not anymore, but it was never a thing. We respect a lot in our team. We respect a lot what the in-game leader says, and we have a lead and a leader, and I'm happy that I can just focus on doing my work in that term. Code is he has his mind in the right place, it feels like.
Would you say Cold still has like star roles and positions on the team, or is he now doing more supportive stuff to try and prop up the newer individuals, like Try and dumau, for example, the next generation?
Right now the roles, he has some hard work to do in terms of new city side positions.
Are you going to make him like hold B on Mirage, right? Give him all your bad spots that you used to do back in the day. Say, listen, mate, you go play B. You can jump spot for the whole round. I'm going to go do something a bit more active.
No, I wish I could. But I wish, but when in GODSENT, when we built the team, we had 4 solo bomb players, like 4 guys that used to be on B side, and I tried to be that guy that would play A and other positions, but everyone just so like in the end, everyone was like, okay, Taco, can you come back B? We need you on B. And then I had to go back to my old positions and take it again. But Code, it's not that he has the worst positions, but right now it's a mix of everything, I would say. I'm playing much more aggressive, for example, because that's something we need. We have 4 very passive players in Lato, dumau, Code, even Try. They are not aggressive players that find space on the map, entry fraggers and stuff like that. So I'm gonna still do my job. I'm gonna still get the space for the team. Of course, some maps, and it's not like SK, like in SK it was literally like that. I would be on the corner of a map, like let's say Dust Shoe. Everyone can understand, it's easy. I would be B. I would be the B guy. I would hold B. I would do my best. To hold B and get information and try to read the game. After that, after the hold, we would go to execution together with the team. I would be the first to go in. City side, I was the B player, the solo bomb player, and I'm happy that my team trusts me a lot because I was many times by myself on my bomb sites, and the thing is, I didn't have many opportunities to kill, to find kills, to see kills. I mean, it was hard for me in SK, but now it's a bit different. Now it's like I told you guys, it's a mix of everything. So I'm also in this mix. I mean, at least T side. Some positions I need to control the map. For example, let's say Unsent. Unsent is a map that I have to play mid because I'm the in-game leader. So I have to give the calls. I need to be, in the middle of the map. I can't just be A holding A, and it's impossible to call like that. What coldzera is helping me a lot is also with the mid round calls. He's organizing the team a lot. For example, in the maps that I'm not together with everyone, like for example overpass, I still hold B on overpass D side. So coldzera is pretty much controlling we call it block, not block, but
the group, I guess.
The group, yes.
Yeah.
coldzera is just controlling the 3 guys with him.
Okay.
Dumau is the one that is holding blue connector. I don't know how is it in Europe, but
Yeah,
in NBA it's blue on the pass. So Dumau is that guy, and then Cold is controlling Lato and Try for the hold and how they're gonna take mid, how they're gonna finish the hold. So pretty much in the maps that I'm not with the group, it's coldzera controlling at least the hold and the first steps of the round, and I'm reading and giving the end round calls, how we will finish the round, how we will approach the round, and the smokes and the nades we're gonna throw and stuff like that. So it's a mix of everything, and but it's a system,
Sure.
In the end, it's our system, and that's how we are working right now.
All right. I wanted to pivot here a little bit and talk about dumau, because it seems like he could be the next big thing, right? Like he's already shown some really strong promise as an individual. I think everybody's seen a couple of glimpses of that, but you get to play with this guy every day. Where do you think he's going to find himself in terms of, if we're ranking best Brazilian players? Do you think this could be his next 6 months to really put himself in that conversation?
Well, dumau, the thing is, the guy, he's a big fan of Michael Jordan, for example.
Okay.
And he follows all his steps. He wants to be the best, and that's what he says. I'm not here just trying to pretend something, and stuff like that. That's what he says. I want to be the best, and he works to be the best. He has his life. I mean, he has his routine. He eats good. He goes to the gym. He does everything he can outside of the game and inside the game to become a very good and strong player. So I trust him. I have I have a deal with him. He once told me, Taco, when I do a mistake, you can go hard. Like you can say it. Just say it.
Oh shit.
Because I want to improve, and that's the best way to do it. So that's the kind of conversations I have with this guy. So I trust him. I'm gonna do all I can to make him a great player. I have a lot of experience that I can give to him, that I can show him. I can definitely help him a lot, and that's what I've been doing for a year and some months now that we are playing together. He has a lot of potential. The guy's good. He works hard, and it's just a matter, in my opinion, it's just a matter of time until dumau becomes a top player.
Okay, that's cool. He likes the tough love. That's nice. Not too many of those beating around these days. Most people need it done gently and softly and in a safe space. So that's all right. You can tell him when he's made a mistake. That's cool. All right, let's jump forward here a little bit. Actually, we're still going back, but in the order. So GODSENT, 0-0 Nation, and then you mentioned it before. You guys played Cologne. Now you started in the play-ins for Cologne. The match there that I want to focus on the most is it was the win over Imperial, right? You guys beat Imperial to qualify to the main stage. How did that feel? Did it feel like, was that a special match, or was that just it's just another fucking game? Who cares?
No, it was definitely special. We didn't want to lose. I was nervous. I was scared at the beginning of the game. I was not at my, I was not at my right place of mind, to be honest. And I'm just happy that the three young guys were killing everyone, and destroying that game. They played really well, but I'm also happy that I could give the confidence for them to do that. They have a lot of respect for Fear, for Fallen, and FNX. They grew up watching these guys playing, so playing against them in a, let's say, difficult match because it had a lot of pressure, and of course it was just the playing and stuff like that, but it was a lot of pressure to especially for young guys to handle, and I was really happy that they just played like they were playing a pug, and they played really well. And me and coldzera, I don't think we had a really good performance in that game. But
do you think you were more nervous than the other three?
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I can't talk for coldzera, but I think I was more nervous than the young guys.
That's pretty cool.
I kind of remember a pre-match interview there with you and Fallen. I think it was Freya, and if I remember correctly, you were saying that this is nothing special. It's just another game. Both of you guys, like the whole broadcast, like trying to hype this up. Oh, it's the big Brazilian matchup. Like all of these major winners playing against each other. You're like, no, this is just another. We're just playing CS. I don't even look at the names. And now it's like, no, I was actually nervous.
That's what you tell your brain before the match, you know.
Yeah, it didn't work that well for you.
Yeah, it didn't work very well.
But you won.
Say it enough, to believe it.
Yeah.
The win's the win, though. We're looking for the W around here, right? So okay, and then you guys went on to the main event in Cologne, and then you had it was a 2-0 against FaZe, but you got double digits in both maps, and then the game against Liquid. But I imagine, based off what you told us before of the limited practice before the event, qualifying for the main stage was probably exceeding expectations.
Yes. We had 2 match points against Liquid on Mirage. I remember pausing that game, and that was my mistake as well, because I forgot that they saved AWP, and I called A execute on Mirage, and OC, he was just triple box, and he destroyed everyone, and we lost that round. I regret a lot this call, but was definitely, I mean, during the tournament, after the match against FaZe, we knew that we could do damage. I felt that we had chances against FaZe. I was not expecting us to win against FaZe, being honest, but we did damage, and I felt that we had that ancient, even though it was 15-5 to them. The round that we lost, I mean, it's the twist ace, and then Brokey 1 versus 3, and rounds like that we lost, and still the game was 15-13. We lost both pistol rounds, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, we lost both pistol rounds. So Ancient, I felt that we had that map, and after Ancient we played Inferno. I don't, even though the score line was good, I don't think we had big chances in that map. But after that game, I was like, man, we can do damage. We face Liquid. We know how Liquid plays. Even though they had a new lineup with Yekindar, but we have an idea because we play against each other a lot in NA. So it's more like that game that you know how to play against them. It's fine. It's not difficult, you know. So the Liquid game, even though we had 2 match points, they just destroyed us on Ancient. They were much more prepared than us to play the map. And even though I got sad that we lost, I also got really happy that we showed a lot of potential, and the young guys, the young players, they didn't feel the pressure. We had great moments. We had great rounds, and definitely it was more than we expected that tournament.
Oh, I guess that's the positive, right? Because then now they can. Well, actually, Prophet Strike, anything around Cologne that you want to talk about here, or the team?
Not necessarily. No, I think he kind of covered the whole thing, like from start to finish. I think it was a pretty great, like, kind of debut on a big stage, even though it wasn't the debut for the team, but it was kind of the first time a lot of people like watching CS saw you, and you like left a good taste for 0-0 Nation that has been really struggling, and even GODSENT, you guys kind of missed out on a couple of tournaments there. So kind of those two teams coming together, and a good first impression, I think.
think as well, like obviously in the lead up now, and this is where we already touched on some of this before. You mentioned you did 15 days in Portugal. Now you're going to do 15 days in Germany. And then obviously you have the America's RMR, which will be taking place in Stockholm. You're doing a around the world trip at the moment by the sound of things. But like that lead in time. So the break, we know that it's 4 weeks for the tournament break. Did everybody just go home and just be like, okay, well, this is where we get to be back in Brazil and spend some time with our families? Was that pretty much the extent of it? Or was it, okay, we're going to come back a week or two early? Like, how did you guys use the break?
Well, I didn't have a break.
Okay.
I didn't want to.
Okay.
I'm being honest. I spent my entire players break watching demos, and I had a lot of notes from all 7 maps that we played, all 7 maps, and I have a lot of notes. And when we came back after the players break, our strat book was already made, was already done. I wrote a lot of stuff. I copied a lot of stuff. I watched a lot of stuff. So I didn't have a break. I didn't want to being fair. That's what you do when you want to improve and get better. So even though it's very necessary, the break, it's really good, the break. I'm not saying that having a break is bad. It's actually good. And also when I say that I didn't have a break, it's very different when you are at your home watching a demo at your computer that you can pause. We eat something that you like, talk to your girlfriend, play with your dog, stuff like that. It's very different than the bootcamp routine. So even though I didn't have a break, I did have a break, but I used my free time to watch a lot of demos. I watched. If HLTV could get my IP, you can see that I watched every ESL Cologne demo. Everyone. I watched every map played at ESL Cologne 2022.
And then from every team, every single match.
I mean, it got kind of mixed in my brain because it was a lot. I even tell the guys, I don't know which team do this strat because it could be FaZe or it could be Big. I don't remember which team was that.
Someone does this.
Yeah, someone does this.
So I saw this and this is very cool. Here's how it goes.
This is like, so okay, so that's cool though, because kind of the way that I'm seeing this from all the things you've told us so far is the team comes together, you play Cologne, you see the potential, you go, fuck yeah, you go, fuck this break. I'm going to spend my time mainly digging deeper into Counter-Strike so we can come out and hit the ground running. And I imagine a lot of this is, well, I may as well ask the question here. Is a lot of this motivation coming because of the major just around the corner in Rio? Do you think that's a motivating factor, or is the motivating factor just, I used to be the best in the world and now I want to be back to that level?
Definitely the major in Rio brings a lot of motivation, but I would do that if we didn't have the major in Rio. I would do the same. The main goal was becoming a great team, and yeah, that's the main goal. I did that because I want to be great again, and I think we have the potential to get there.
Okay.
But does the major give you like that? You know, you watched 4 demos and think like maybe I go take a nap now, but then you think about the Rio Major is like
perfect.
Maybe one more demo. You know, maybe 10 more minutes of deathmatch.
Perfect. That's actually perfect. That's exactly how it was for me.
Okay. That's cool. All right. Well, let's, I guess, focus in a little bit now with the RMR, which is not that far away now for you guys, right? It's coming pretty quick. We got a couple weeks of Pro League left, and then the RMRs will be kicking off in Stockholm for Americas. It'll be in Malta for Europe and in Melbourne for Asia. That's right. Yeah. So I imagine that you guys will be studying around a similar time as EU. I don't know if the schedule's released or anything yet. You guys might have something internally, but when you look at that, it's mainly dominated by South American teams in the Americas RMR. So who do you think are going to be the biggest threats to 00 Nation in taking one of those top spots?
Well, I think that Liquid is obviously one of the things that will be very difficult to play against, but definitely Furia. Yeah, I think those 2 teams are the most difficult ones in the qualifier.
Okay. Because I know, like, obviously Imperial made this change with Cello coming in for FNX, which is like, okay, they're trying to bolster a bit of the firepower there. And then like 9Z always seemed like they're quite an exciting prospect. MIBR, it's interesting with those guys, but you feel that those guys, you should all have their number? Like, I'm not trying to get you to say, yeah, we're going to fucking own them all, but you think that you have the caliber here to take care of business against those teams?
You reminded me about MIBR. It's a shout out to MIBR because I've been watching their games and they are playing really good CS. They playing really well lately. They're winning a lot of matches and they playing really good. So shout out to MIBR. I forgot to mention them, but that's the first team that I would mention to be really fair. We're gonna see a bit of Furia in the Group D of ESL Pro League because they're gonna play the last group. So I'm not very sure about them. They were not looking as good as before at IEM Cologne. Of course, they are a great team with great players, and they had time to practice and change stuff now. So I'm excited to see Furia at ESL Pro League and for us to get an idea of the level they are playing right now. Liquid also, we probably gonna see Liquid in that group as well, right?
Yes.
Group D?
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely another team that will be very good to watch and see what their level are like right now.
Yeah, it is going to be curious, right? Because some of these teams we haven't seen play a lot, especially since Cologne, and it's been quite a bit of time now. Like Complexity have just added HooXi, and they looked much better in Pro League than what they did previously, especially since the junior days, right? Even Pain had a pretty good first event, right? Like that was some good Counter-Strike there. So I think with how everything seems to be trending in the Americas, it's more exciting than I would have thought when the RMR qualifiers were on. Like I've kind of been sold on a couple of these names, and I think it's going to be a fun event here. Like obviously some of these smaller names are always good for an upset or two, but there's a pretty clear top 8, I would say, and it's almost in the order that it is on HLTV with the rankings, like Liquid, Furia, 00 Nation, Imperial, Complexity, Pain, MIBR, 9Z, and we get to see EG starting tomorrow as well. So that's going to be another one from the Americas.
6 teams qualify, so that's going to be, and there's Oplano there. KNG is playing as well, so that's always interesting. I don't think they're like one of the favorites to go through, but you can't write them off on LAN, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Another shout out to Pain. I also forgot to mention Pain. Pain, they are playing well. They won against us at the Open RMR in Brazil. Of course, I don't think there's much to take from that game because we were not in our best form. It was just after vacation. They were also a super new lineup. So it was more like we lost to them, but I don't think that game meant a lot, But a huge shout out to Pain Game as well. They're playing really good. They made a lot of, not a lot of, but they made 2 changes in their lineup. And I heard the organization was investing a lot of money, and that's good for when you talk about a Brazilian organization, like they are from Brazil, and to have Brazilian organizations investing to buy players out. I mean, it's not cheap nowadays to buy players, to invest on CSGO, and they did that, and they are just getting the results. They got Zevi, which is a good sniper. He was playing for Sharks before. He's a good player. He has a good mindset as well, and I know the guy. And another one that joined them was
Schools, right? Yeah,
he's really interesting. Schools. Yeah.
Oh, Schools as well. Yeah, I think when we built EA Gaming, back in the days, I think 2018 or 17, we wanted EA Gaming we wanted players that we could develop and build something around them. And Schools was on my list. Dumau was on my list. Lato was on my list. Schools was on my list. So I think the guy also has potential. I don't know him a lot. I don't know his game a lot as well, but definitely in the past he had a lot of potential, and I think he continued to do so.
Okay.
Tell me, just from you kind of covered a lot of these teams, but from your time in Brazil now, is there a player that kind of stood out to you as kind of a potential rising star or something, someone that you maybe didn't played in scrims or something like that?
It's definitely someone. I'm just not really great with names.
I think Luca Ozzy, he also got signed recently for like a huge buyout.
Fluxo.
Yeah.
It's they also had the Fluxo lineup. Another shout out, guys.
That's Phelps' team, right?
That's Phelps' team.
Phelps and Woody.
Phelps is a great player. He knows how to play CS, and he has a lot of experience as well. But we cannot say Phelps, right? We cannot mention Phelps. Like
No, that one's gone.
That
That
is a
ship's
given.
sailed.
That is a
Yeah.
given. We know
Phelps
he's
is,
good.
Phelps is already good. So let's say I'm gonna pass this one.
All right, that's all right.
No one. Okay, let's write let's write the headline for Dust 2BR. Taco, no players to shout out in Brazil. No one worthy
He's
of
been
a
saying
mention.
good things about everybody. He
No
hasn't
one's,
said a bad word
one's
about
worthy of a
anybody.
mention.
Look, let's do this. Let's jump into the we can jump into the quiz now, and I think.
Oh, okay, I know one.
Oh, okay, here we go.
BRN Zan.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I
Is
think
that how
he'll
you-
play.
How
He's
do you
good.
say it? How do you say it in Brazilian Portuguese?
BRN Zan.
Okay.
And that's why when I cast him, Taco, I call him Brennazan, because my Australian accent and my broken brain would not be able to do that. So he gets Brennazan. I tried with the FTW guys, like Arroz Doce and shit. It was fucking hard. I'll tell you.
Arroz doce.
Sweet rice. I know what it means at least. Okay, let's jump into
What
who
does
wants
it
to be a
mean?
sweet rice.
Oh,
Rice
Like a
pudding.
dessert. Yeah.
BRN comes from Bruno.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
why.
a very common name in Brazil.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We nailed it. He seemed happy enough with it. Actually, I didn't ask him. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. It doesn't matter. The Portuguese casters, I'm sure, will get it right, and that's
That
probably where
is
he
the
listens to.
relationship advice right there.
Yeah.
Seemed
close
pretty happy. Didn't ask.
All right, let's get into this quiz. Taka, you remember last time we did Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire? So we do 5 questions. They're multiple choice. Prof's written these up, and we'll give Striker can assist you. So if you want some help with the questions, Striker can help you. He can be your lifeline. And every question that you get correct, the little ticker will move up. So I'm going to read the questions to you. If you get all 5 right, somebody in chat right now will win a $50 skin.
Let's go, chat.
You're winning for the people at home. So everybody at home, just quickly, if you are just joining us now on HLTV Confirmed, you haven't been here before, maybe you're wondering why everybody else in chat is currently spamming Bitskins. Well, type Bitskins in chat to enter the draw, and you could win the skin that Taco gets for you. So let's get underway. Lucas, are you ready?
I have to unmute, but yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you're ready, Lucas. I'm glad to hear. Let's go. Question number 1. All right, I just refreshed it. Anyway, who claimed the ESL1 Belo Horizonte trophy?
Easy. FaZe.
Okay, bang. Lock that one in. Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Correct answer is A,
Who'd
FaZe.
they beat?
I lost to them in the semifinals. I was playing with Liquid, and I lost to FaZe, and they beat MOUZ Sports in the finals.
That's right, with nothing standing in, wasn't it? Nothing was standing in for MOUZ. Yeah. And I called it Belo Horizonte. Isn't it Belo Horizonte?
Belo Horizonte.
Okay. Second time was a little bit better. I gotta work it out. All right. Question number 2. What is coldzera's latest tournament win? Was it the Zotac Cup Masters in 2018? Was it IEM New York 2022 online in Europe? Or was it Flashpoint 3?
Holy. I thought that it was Blast with FaZe. Because I remember Zotac was EM IBR. Was the last trophy they won EM IBR.
Yeah.
So if it's not Zotac, I think it's probably IEM New York EU. I think so.
Because that final, I'm pretty sure, was FaZe versus OG.
Oh, yeah.
I think
2020.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Anyway, I think that's.
10
I think
seconds.
you're right. I'm sure it's not Flashpoint. I just don't know if
Flashpoint MOUZ
might be. Yeah.
So we went with A or B.
B.
B. All right, locking in B. Correct answer is B. IEM New York 2020 EU. That was against OG, right, Prof?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I'm not losing my mind. Jesus. All right. Question number 3. Which Brazilian player tops the country's rating leaderboard for 2022 with 50 plus maps played with a 1.26 rating? Is it NQZ? Is it Cello? Or
Piriazin?
That's the one. That's what I wanted to say, Taco. That's what I wanted to say.
Can I check on HLTV really quick?
That would be cheating. But I look, Striker, do you have any idea? Can you assist Taco on this? Because this is why
I mean,
I know that
Cello's going to be
NQZ
high.
guy's getting a lot of
Yeah, I was going to
praise.
say like NQZ is kind of like the one that I would almost give a punt to. Cello, I know is high. I don't know if at 1.26 high. And then again, I just don't know if NQZ has played 50 plus maps. But then like The Brazilian teams just play quite a lot, so I'm not so sure.
I think it's A as well. I think it's ENCE because I don't think Piriazin has 50 plus maps as well.
5
Okay.
seconds.
Locking in A and QZ, and the correct answer is NQZ. 3 from 3, Taco. You're smashing this. All right, let's get into number 4. Which South American team qualified for ESL Rotterdam? Was it A?
Fluxo.
Fuck yeah! All right, this is great. It doesn't even need to skip a beat. You made. Oh shit!
No,
Why was it Sharks?
that's definitely wrong.
Lucas.
That's wrong. That's
Oh
wrong.
no.
It's all right. We can manually fix this. Thank God it's not an automated system. Correct answer was Fluxo. Oh, geez, my heart just stopped there for a second. He answered it with such confidence. I was like,
Exactly.
Fluxo too.
I knew it was Fluxo too.
Fucking hell, have we all lost our minds? All right, let's get into question number 5. We're 4 from 4. This is
All the
clean sweep.
pressure on the line.
Well, last week, I think, not last week, the week before, I don't think we had the 5 from 5. At which major did Brazil not have a team in the playoffs? Was it London 2018? Was it Berlin 2019? Or was it Stockholm 2021?
B. I
Okay.
remember that as well. London, I was playing with Liquid. We got to the semifinals. Of course, we lost to Astralis because that was the only team that could beat us at that time.
Okay.
And then, of course, we lost to Astralis at the semifinals. And MIBR lost to Navi. So MIBR was there. Berlin 2019, we played with Zeus instead of coldzera. And we lost before the playoffs to also Navi. We won against NIP the first game, and then we lost 2, and then the third one was against Navi, and we also lost to Navi. Stockholm 2021, Furia made it to the playoffs.
Yep.
So it's definitely Berlin 2019.
And I'm going to lock in B, Berlin 2019. The correct answer is B, Berlin 2019. 5 from 5.
Okay,
Taco,
easy.
you, out of everybody I think we've ever had do the quiz, actually had rationale for every single answer and knew every single answer. That's fucking crazy. Most time people are guessing, they're reading chat, they got no idea what's going on. You smashed that. All right, well, I guess we're going to draw our winner. Whoever's in chat can thank Taco for fucking owning it. And the winner is, don't tell me this is our Martin, is it? It's _ just Martin, following since the 31st of August, 2021. So that's the
I don't
winner.
think that's our Martin.
It's _ just Martin. Now
It's
we're
Martin merged
we're
with
giving the skins
Sherry.
inside the company now. We're just keeping it's the same skin every week. It's rigged. We just give it back to Martin, and he trades it back to himself. All right, that was fun. That's Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire with Taco in the hot seat, and that's brought to you by Bitskins. Okay, cool. I'm ready to move forward. Everybody ready to jump in the recent news?
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, roll the bumper, Lucas.
The Xtrfy M42 RGB, what a fun mouse with 5 colorways, lightweight frame at just 59 grams with a swappable backplate to suit your grip style, the sensor, the easy cord, the smooth skates, and driverless control for RGB and DPI is why you should check out the M42 RGB down below.
Buy and sell your skins now. Easy, fast, and safe. The best skin site. Credit card deposits and withdrawals. Instant cash out methods. Get the best deals. Quick, simple, reliable. Bitskins.com.
Tired of watching your favorite team lose? Go to n1bet.com and win with us. Use promo code HLTV and become a winner with your favorite team. n1bet.com. Your bet, your game.
We're back. Thank you for sticking with us. Hope you enjoyed the ads. Some banger sponsors there if you want to check out their gear, if you're in any need for anything they offer. But we're going to talk about the recent news. And because we skipped a week, we actually have a decent amount of recent news. Normally, Prof, we're like going from week to week, and it's like, well, we've already covered half this shit. So now we have a lot of stuff to talk about. And the big one, Prof, was this IEM Rio expansion. Do you have the cliff notes to give well, actually, no, let me put it this way. What was your biggest highlight of the expansion plans? What did you like the most?
Well, for me, definitely the expansion of the actual viewing part, that you can actually view the matches for the challenger and contender stages. That's pretty big. That we had a similar thing for Katowice 2019, but it was just like I think for one of the stages, not both. I'm not really sure.
That was with the hydraulic stage that would turn around, right?
Yeah. And then we had like not five, but there was like maybe 200 fans, and then like 10 FaZe fans were trying to like crowd cheat there. It was pretty cringe, not gonna lie. But that part, but overall the experience was pretty good. I feel like it was just something nice, new, and I feel like for majors this should be the thing that we try. Maybe not in every country you can find a crowd for it, but this is the major, right? We should make it special, make it different than any other tournament. And I feel like people coming to the major and then not playing a single game in front of any crowd, I feel like doesn't really fulfill that, prestige of the event from a not from a viewer, from a player point of view, right? It just feels you go to a studio, you play some games, and you're out. And do you feel like you have a sticker, but it's not. Maybe you have a sticker, depends on what major it was. So I'm pretty happy about that.
I think that's a good point right there. I think that all majors should attempt to do this for the 12 days worth of competition if they can. And they just have to tailor that experience to the crowd that's available. Because you're right, not every country or every environment is going to be possible to have that. But, Taco, as you know, I don't think it's going to be too difficult to get Counter-Strike fans to come out and watch the Challenger or Legend stage. I think you're going to have that covered in Brazil, right?
Yeah, if you are watching this and you are my friend, I don't have tickets. I have no tickets. Please, guys. I don't. I swear to God, I have no tickets.
How many messages have you gotten?
A lot. I mean, close friends. Hey, Taco, what's up, man? I tried to buy the major tickets, but I couldn't. Man, I can't help you.
Oh,
just tell them to qualify next time.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be there. I need to be there first.
Yeah, they sold like hotcakes though, right? And then when ESL announced this, and they look, I'm speculating here. I know that Goles brought up the venue on his stream. Someone was saying, or I was reading it somewhere. My brain's kind of full of all these things at all times. And we know it. Striker, what's the capacity?
I mean, for the challengers and legends stage, he said 5,000. That's the only number we ever heard from him. He said 5,000. Yeah, ESL didn't want to confirm that to me. They didn't want to tell me how many people are there in the FanFest area, or how many people can be there either. Okay. The only number that I got from ESL was 100,000 fans can watch the major live in total, like across the 12 days, 100,000, which is, it's difficult to say how exactly they count that. It could just be like, what's the total capacity for every day, and then times that by 12, or whatever,
Sure.
The things like that.
Well, I imagine the capacity will, for the last 4 days, it will just go gangbusters. But this is why I was trying to have, I was tweeting with Mark Winther trying to get an understanding.
I saw that.
And I'm ballparking. So this is what I think based off the pictures they put up and based off what the information Goles said. I think it's going to be a similar size crowd as what ENCE was for the Pro League finals.
Right.
That's what I expect, which for me, just eyeballing that is like 4,000 to 6,000 people, but because it's more of an intimate style venue, it feels like 8,000 people, right? It feels like a lot.
He also said that there are going to be 2 stages, so there's going to be like one main stage for the main game, but there's also going to be a stage for the secondary game.
Yeah,
because you have 2 games at the same time. So I don't know how they're gonna. That's also going to take some space. Yeah, but
he said that was going to be backstage. It's just they're going to be able to view it from like that area. Well, it's just they're not going to see the teams, I think.
Or I want to jump in on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know that there were only like artistic representations of what the stage may potentially look like, but on that image they had for this group stage setup, it was like team A versus like game 1 here and then game 2 here, and they were both on this.
I saw a Reddit post where Mark Winther was talking about this. Actually, kind of from an official capacity, he actually confirmed this, that's only for like cutting down time between matches. So that secondary setup is only for preparation for the next match. But the actual 2 matches that are going on at the same time, they will be kind of like back to back, like maybe not back to back. I don't know exactly, but there will be a team that's going to be in the actual stage and like viewable from the crowd, and then the other match is going to be played somewhere backstage. But there's going to be a screen that's going to view the actual match.
Okay.
So you're not going to be able to view the secondary game necessarily.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Taco, you heard what we were just saying here about this should kind of be a consistent thing for all majors. Do you agree? You think that the event of this scale should always have a crowd for each and every stage where some people can come and view?
I think that's nice. I love to play in front of the crowd. It's CS, it's just great to be in front of a crowd, and if you can do that in every stage, I'm really happy with that. And I also think that we have the public for that. So for me it's great. I think it would be good.
Well, this is like in a way like a celebration of Brazilian Counter-Strike, right? The majors are always a celebration of Counter-Strike, but this is kind of now shining the spotlight to, because this is the way I look at it. And I might be romanticizing things a little bit here, but what you built with SK and Luminosity winning majors, right? Showing that people from your country can be the best Counter-Strike team in the world. Like that really laid the path and foundation for what FPS esports in Brazil are seen as now, right? You guys have good teams in Valorant. They just won the I don't know what it was called, but the big Valorant tournament, right? There's always like a Rainbow Six team from that part of the world as well. But before you guys popped off, it was MIBR in the 1.6 days and stuff, right? And Fallen towards the end when he was in complexity for 1.6 and all that kind of stuff too, I think. But then when you guys kind of put Brazil on the map in the biggest possible way, like you're in a huge way responsible for the fandom. Do you feel that? Do you feel like, oh shit, like I played a part in this? Like I was one of the people that all these fans were wanting to see play, and now you get to be there on home soil and kind of celebrate that with a major. That must feel pretty unreal.
Yeah, it's just it's easy to see that when you compare CSGO or others FPS in Brazil before the majors we won and after the majors we won. Winning the majors played a big game in that sense, and I think that definitely it played a big game in how esports and FPS developed in Brazil. Talking about the major, I also think that it should be something special for the players, for the fans, for everyone involved. I got really mad, I think 3 years or 4 years ago, when they changed the major for everyone having a sticker in the game, because I was like, it's not fair, like it's 24 teams having a sticker. I mean, sticker was the trophy, having the your signature in a sticker on the game was the thing, was great. So when they changed that, I didn't like it, but nowadays it makes a lot of sense, because it also helps small organizations and other organizations and teams that don't have chances to play tournaments and do boot camps. They can do it now. So it made a lot of sense now in my mind. So I regret saying that I didn't like it in the past, but I'm just saying that because I want to say that major should be special. CSGO major should be something special, and having public in all the stages is making the major special. So I like it, and I think it's very positive.
Okay, I think one of the other cool little adjustments they made, guys, is a 360 stage. I saw you tweeting with Winther about that as well, Striker. Where you got the wrong 360 stage that we were talking about. We were talking about.
Well, he was talking about what he organized, right? And I was just like, DreamHack. Okay, DreamHack Winter 2014 is the first one that I remembered had a 360. That was much smaller than Vegas, though.
Vegas was sad. Vegas was sad because the E-League major got announced. Like this is what people don't understand happened back then, because that Vegas DreamHack major was pitching to be a major. And then they didn't get a major, so they still ran the event, right? But then E-League got it, was also in America.
Luckily, they didn't get it, I guess.
No, but that's
in retrospect.
But that's the reason that there wasn't any fans.
I don't know, man. Considering how much turnout there was without it being a major, I feel like it wouldn't have been that massive if it was a major. No.
Okay, fair enough. I guess we'll never know. I'll live on the side that thought maybe some fans would come and feel it because it could have been a cool
more would come. Just the more would make it a thing. From like we're a little bit further away, and it's just like it's not that far from LA and San Francisco and like some of these big cities, right? But still, I feel like considering just how few people turned up, it seems like it's pretty unlikely that it would fill just because it's a major,
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to do it exactly with the 360, like what the type of environment is going to be, how close the fans going to be, like all that. Because we've had 360 stages before. Some of them haven't had fans on the ground, right? I think. I
don't remember if any of them had, like at least one of the big ones, at least.
Krakow didn't have any fans on the ground.
Charlotte of Berlin also didn't have fans on the ground.
Platform.
Yeah, it was just like massive. Yeah, it was super high up. Even DreamHack Winter was kind of like stands, but that was like a small, tiny little thing with like 400 people, so it doesn't really count.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't remember one that had people on the ground.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested to see what ESL decide to do with this. But obviously, expanding to get more fans in the arena, which is great. I think some people were expecting them to be able to move it to a massive outdoor arena or something crazy like that, but that is not possible. What else was the addition? Oh, this whole FanFest thing. Yeah, this FanFest thing with Goles is quite interesting because we obviously know Goles is massive in Brazil. There's no way around that. But the fact that this is a different viewing experience to make up for, well, not to make up for, I guess, just to allow more people to come and experience. It's almost like a festival in a way. Taco, have you heard much about this? You've been talking to Goles or anybody in the know about what this fan fest might have in store?
I think that's also a good idea. That's also making the major special. Goles is really big in Brazil. He brings a lot of fans, Counter-Strike fans. Do you know that caster in your country that cast the football World Cup? That, I mean, he's always casting the team squad, the country squad, the countryman team. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
in Brazil we had Galvão Bueno, you know. So every Brazilian has something different with Galvão Bueno because he was a guy that would cast all the Brazilian football team matches and stuff like that. So Gaules is like that for us in CSGO. At least I feel like he brings a lot of Counter-Strike fans and he has a huge community, which is tribo in Portuguese. And I think that's also making the major special. It's gonna be super nice. His community is super nice as well. People will have a lot of fun and they're gonna be there, which is the most important part, and they're gonna be there experiencing a major tournament in Brazil. So that's epic.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a massive party. It should be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
I mean, it's something when we kind of compare like esports to real sports. This is something that happens for the World Cup or whatever because people travel to the place but can't get tickets, and then they just like every city where the World Cup is happening has like these fan zones where people watch games. Maybe you go to one game but you don't have tickets to the other game in this place. Maybe you have tickets to one day, you don't have for the other days, but there is still a place to like go and enjoy the games, watch the games with like-minded fans. And like this even happens all across the world, not only in the places where when the World Cup is on, like every city, it's in every city practically. In Sydney you can probably find a place like open air where you can watch, maybe not because of the time zone, but like anywhere in Germany there's going to be in every city like a big screen and like people just watching games. So it's kind of a nice sign of like the direction where like CS is going. Of course, this is Brazil, so it's not going to happen in every country in the world. But if this goes well, then maybe it pushes other people in other countries to do like similar things, maybe on a smaller scale, and it grows from there.
Yeah, no, I think these additions, they're all good. Like that's the thing. Everybody read it. It's like, hey, these are all positive things. It's like that's nice, right? For a piece of news to come out like this, and it's all good news. So, I guess we've covered off all the main things here, Striker. Is there anything we're missing? Anything that we should sink our teeth into here with this?
No, not necessarily. I mean, one thing we didn't really say was that even the Challenger League, Challenge Legends stage is going to be kind of like headed by Goles. He's going to be the one commentating the whole thing. So it's kind of like it's just a cool kind of partnership between ESL and Goles, because it's just obviously he's going to bring in more people. His voice is going to be there, and obviously people come there for that atmosphere that he brings, which is kind of unique in terms of commentary. It's just obvious, when there's going to be Brazilian teams in attendance, it's always going to be very biased, but that's kind of like why you go there, right? If you're a Brazilian fan. So I think it's just a really cool partnership. I think I'm really looking forward to being there and seeing how it's going to be, especially like if we get to a stage where we do have a Brazilian team in the playoffs, and you have like, you just go outside and you have this massive fucking fan fest, and then you go into the arena and you just have these two different experiences, I think that's going to be a really cool and super unique experience in terms of esports.
I think considering what we had for the last two majors, and this is at no fault of PGLs, we were just coming out of COVID time, right? So everybody was a little bit more skittish in what we were doing. So understandably so. But to go from how the Challenger and Legend stages were played for the last two majors to how the Challenger and Legend stages are going to be played for this major, like the major starts when the Challenger starts now. Like that's what it feels like to me. Like it's not just like a group stage. It's like this event's starting. There's fans. People are going nuts. It's going to have a great atmosphere. And it's only 41 days away. So I think that's kind of raised the excitement level for it all a tad. But speaking of majors, the Blast Paris Major got announced, and that's going to be exciting because, as we've mentioned on this show before, and I still see these people who are like, eat shit, Sponge, you were wrong. Now look.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, but that's because they missed the show where I came out and I said that and I was. This is the thing, when I came out and I said that Blast,
You
would
literally
the
broke
next one,
this. You basically broke the
nobody
story.
referenced me ever about
No.
it. I was the first person to say it.
That's super weird. There were some websites that are like, oh, sources say blah. It's like
Sponge said.
there's this Chad guy. Maybe maybe heard about him. 2-time esports award winner.
Shit, shining my wheels. Thank you very much.
Host of HLTV Confirmed, caster, former CS player, Australian CS legend.
Where is this written down?
Beater of Titan on Mirage, and some other things as well. Kind of nice guy
by
as well.
Taco twice,
But
I think.
didn't you 16 OS as well?
I was out of the team then, man. I left. Ricky was playing. Yeah, I know, right? So look, we can pretend. But I definitely
in spirit you were there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was there in spirit. You boshed my boys and me on train and cobble. So,
I remember it was E-League, right?
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, we got
happens to everyone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, coldzera is the guy who got who got 60 the most. He knows.
It's so funny. Someone keeps tabs of that on HLTV, man.
I forgot about it. I'm gonna make fun of him next time. I forgot about it.
I mean, if you ever lose 60-0, you know who's to blame. It's not your fault.
So yeah, because he got 60-0 at like 4 different teams, right? That you guys are you won, so maybe it's your turn now.
5
Complexity?
times. 5 times.
Oh, 5
I'm pretty
different teams. Even,
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair
I don't
enough.
know if it's 5 different teams, but
I think it
it's
is 5. Actually, 5 different. Like every team he's been in, like since I don't know when he's gotten. So maybe it's your turn, man. Maybe it's your turn.
Maybe he's done with the 60-0s though. There won't be any more. Now, look, this Blast Paris Major.
I hope so.
Yeah. For 00 Nation's sake. I remember coming out and this is when I knew that Blast hadn't been pitching for majors, and a lot of people, because Blast, as we all know, and as I always credit, have the best production out of everybody, right? Then we got wind that they were going to be pitching for a major, so I attempted to try and set the record straight and be like, I've heard the Blast. Actually, I just came out and said that they had the next one. I don't know if it was the next one or the next one of the next 2. And then they've come out and they've announced it already, which is great, and it's in Paris, which is exciting because French Counter-Strike has always been quite a big thing in the Counter-Strike scene, right? We've always gone to more niche areas. We've gone to Marseille, right? We've gone to Montpellier, but we haven't gone to Paris. So this is a big city that everybody knows with the big fuck off Eiffel Tower. Yeah, it's great. It's romantic. That should probably be the Blast theme, like the romantic Counter-Strike. But it's really cool to get to see them running a major because a couple of reasons. 1, Blast production, as mentioned, but 2, to see them run a large scale event. Right? This is a test for Blast now. They've been warming into things. They've been slowly growing. They get a lot of praise. And now they're going to attempt to run the biggest thing in Counter-Strike. And I'm really excited to see how they up it, right? We've just seen what ESL have announced. I'm sure the Blast have crazy shit ready for what they want to do. And if everybody keeps kind of one-upping each other a little bit every time, it's going to be very exciting to see. So I'm very keen for the whole Paris Major and to see what Blast have to offer here. So it should be a good bit of fun. But was there any other takeaways with this announcement that I missed? Because I'm a headline type of guy, guys. Did I miss anything with the announcement, or was it just the headline?
I mean, the big headline would be that the president himself announced it first, actually.
There you go.
So that would be a big headline. And I think that's a big deal. I mean, obviously, it kind of gives credibility to the event in the country to more kind of like the mainstream people. And of course, we always say we don't really care about the mainstream people. We kind of like hardcore fans, right? But it is obviously good for the major and just like for the prestige of it, I guess, and for the credibility of Counter-Strike still. So I think that's a very cool detail, I suppose.
And it was about time to Blast to get a major as well, right? I feel like they deserved it. They deserve it, actually. It's gonna be a good test for them, but it was well deserved. I always enjoyed playing the Blast tournaments, and I think they do a good job. And in my opinion, it was about time to give Blast a major.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see their stamp on things, Prof. Do you think that they're going to run with like the theme that they run with their traditional events, or do you think they're going to completely fucking mix it up and like offer us something very, very new?
I mean, in terms of like the graphics and visuals and stuff like that, I feel like they're going to figure out like a theme, like a different theme than their just like Blast premiere. Maybe it's going to be like wine and cheese and romance and me and you kissing under the Eiffel Tower. Maybe that's a part of
For
their
the HLTV
stuff.
confirmed cover. Yeah.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But
Maybe
I
that's
feel like
the plan
there's
for that major actually for confirm, where we just like sit on the park leading to the Eiffel Tower. You know, that would be a nice
Lucas,
scenery.
do we have the strong enough internet? Can we do that? Can we pull it off?
Why don't
He's
we
asleep
just
again.
what? No. Why don't
Not
we
yet.
just record it? Does it have to be live?
It's better live, but
No.
we'll work it out.
and
It's
this is
fine.
after the Copacabana broadcast from Rio, of course.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we are going to be there, aren't we?
Let's get the Rio done and we'll talk about
Then
it.
we'll worry about Paris. Okay, but a genuine conversation topic that I have seen, guys, and one that I want to leapfrog off because it is a reference point for both Rio, Paris, and then if Perfect World do get the next major next year, then presumably China. I did see a bit of conversation on Reddit as well as HLTV forums about the fact that there's no English commentary in the arena
In the
for those
arena,
events. Now, as a commentator myself, like that doesn't even bother me. Like I'm surprised it's bothering a lot of people. I get if you're from like Central Europe and you wanted to go watch and you don't speak French, that's going to kind of suck a lot. But like, for example, in Rio, there's no way we were ever going to have English commentary in the arena in the first place. It has to be Portuguese, of course. It's that's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
In Paris, I can kind of see a little bit more of the conversation, but at the same
Yeah.
time, that's the laws in France, right? They love their language, and that's okay. They want to protect their culture and their history and everything like that. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to get in the way of that. But do you guys see the concerns of the people at home? Striker, do you think it is going to be a big detracting factor to some people going to watch?
I think for the people who are going to be at the event, it's obviously going to be a little bit of a detracting factor, because obviously, you know, you go in and kind of like the commentary is also something that draws you into the action, right? And like without it, it's a lot of the time it's a little bit too disconnected from the whole thing, I think. So for the people who go there, I think that's going to be a bit of a problem if there's not going to be some sort of another solution where, I don't know if they're going to have some sort of headphones or whatever it
Earpieces,
is, you know, like
maybe?
earpieces. Yeah, I'm sure that's at least a potential solution. I don't know how technically possible or viable that would be. I'm like, it would still be a little bit disconnecting, you know, from the rest of the crowd, because
Sure.
they're obviously going to watch the French. I'm assuming if it's actually going to be a French cast, right? But that everything suggests that it will be, at least the official one, the biggest one. Yeah, so it is definitely a concern. I think it's not as big of a concern for people at home, just because, you know, as
They'll
long as
still get
you make it
crowd
technically
noise.
possible,
Yeah.
and Blast are obviously very technically skilled and have a lot of good people working for them, as long as, you know, they project the crowd noise into, you know, the English cast, even if it's not going to be inside the arena necessarily, or even if you guys are going to be inside the arena. I mean, I don't see why not, right? Like, why wouldn't you have two different
Yeah, we did it
like cast
before at a
inside?
Blast event when I was
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
desk with like Effia and Potter and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
We were
there
in
you
the
go.
arena during. I don't know where the casters were, but it should be the biggest thing that you want to avoid is the bleed in of the other
Yeah.
casters in the arena into the mics. But like you're saying, I think that with this big business come and maybe looking at the last couple of events we've had, maybe it should come across as a difficult task, as some of these companies have made it seem that way. But it should be fixable. It should be workable.
Yeah,
I would
100%.
imagine.
Like, I just think as long as, you know, you can work it out technically, I'm sure the experience is going to be, you know, just as good as it would be if it was just an English cast in the arena. You know, I think that's for people at home anyway.
Yeah, I think, yeah, for traveling, I feel like for Paris it's kind of difficult because Europe is small. Like, Europe is really small when you compare it, like, Europe to Brazil. Like, the whole of Europe, it's not that big of a difference. Like, it's just they're for a Central Europe location, which is Paris, like kind of in not Central Europe, but in the center of Europe.
Yep.
People can come over from all over the place, and usually do. Like, for Cologne, people come from all over the place, right? And for Antwerp as well, like people from Sweden and from Spain and from like Central Europe, just Central fucking America came over. So it's kind of more of an international crowd than it is going to be in Rio or potentially in China, right? So that's, for me, it's kind of it's a minus for the in person attendee for sure.
I want to ask you this one, Taco. Which French legend do you think should bring out the trophy for the Paris major?
Well, I think it would be really nice if we get RPK.
Okay, the tank.
Definitely. I mean, Shocks, for example, he still plays. So
I think
You
how
want
do
someone
you
retired,
look
huh?
at that actually? I'm just curious about you, because, you know, we had like Nitro bring out the Cologne trophy, I think, right?
Mhm.
And I feel to me it feels a little bit awkward when it's somebody who's still playing, especially who was at the tournament, still playing.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that actually?
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be the guy bringing the trophy if I was still playing. I mean, but that's me. That's just my opinion. But also, I mean, talking about France, I think RPK. I mean, I used to watch RPK a lot because he was the solo player, the solo bomb player, and he was. I think I was, JDC from All Sports.
Yes.
He has that RPK bomb solo style that I really love. The I don't know how to explain, but RPK, he's my legend. He's the one that should, in my opinion, should bring the trophy. There are other names as well, like Smith, for example.
Sure.
Like I said, HooXi, but he still plays. Who else? Who else is a legend?
Kenny's on the bench.
legendary?
Does he
Kenny
count?
S is kind of, yeah.
Yeah, like NBK, Kenny S, some of these old very games people, of course, would be, but it's
MBK's
still.
in a shock situation, I guess,
Yeah.
still playing for Falcons.
Maybe just every day someone else brings it out.
I don't know if they can have existence bring it out, but he's not even French, so I guess that he's I don't even know.
And he didn't do it. He didn't do it for
What about
Antwerp.
Happy as well.
Or
Yeah.
is he playing Valorant?
Happy.
Because if he's playing Valorant, then maybe not. I don't know if they'll
Bring
like
back
that.
Happy, man.
RPK.
I mean,
RPK.
Bring
miss Happy.
RPK.
And he
RPK is our
he
guy.
can drift out onto stage in one of his sick cars. They'll get him to drift out, and he can bring the trophy out. And it'll be a whole thing. Make it fast and furious. It'd be great. All right.
The guy was a legend as well. Super nice guy, super good player. Won a lot for France, and he was a part of many legendary, not only in CSGO, but many legendary teams from France.
Okay. All right. I like the recommendation. All right. Let's jump forward. Let's talk about one of our favorite teams on the show here, Taco. Two of our favorite teams on the show are Astralis and NIP because they make really fun decisions. So we like to talk about them a lot. And their management don't like us very much because we make some comments about their teams. Now,
and this is another one.
What did you think, Taco, when you saw Aleksib replacing Plopsky? Did you expect that move to happen?
Well, it was I didn't see this coming, but I actually think Plopsky was important for them. I think he plays an important role in the game, and I think that he could be very useful. So it's not that of course, I didn't expect it, but I didn't expect it to be Plopsky at least. I'm not sure how things are going in there. I mean, you never know if they really needed a change, or I don't know what they wanted to do with this change, but it felt, at least for me from outside, it felt a bit weird to see Plopsky going.
Why do you think he's important? Because he's a small bomb set player like you, or?
I think he does the job.
Yeah.
It's important to have someone like him in the team. He does a job. The guy looks very dedicated to the game. At least it feels like he studied the game a lot. I could be wrong here. I don't really know him.
I mean, people are just gonna look at the stats and see, he has like a 0.95 and see like, he is obviously bad. So why is this Taco guy saying that he's important? Like, what is he doing? Why doesn't he just frag more if he's dedicated?
Yeah, I think he plays a role that it's important to have in almost everything. I think the guy was good. I don't know about the roster change, but I didn't expect it to be Plopsky the one leaving.
Yeah.
We find ourselves now, Prof, in a position where this team is now no longer a Swedish team, which is a shame because we thought that they had won the war of attrition against Fnatic, right? Fnatic started going international first.
Yeah. Now they gave up again.
Yeah. But now NIP have done the same thing in a way. They still have their academy roster, which is still geared towards Swedish Counter-Strike, I believe, but it's not going to be the same launch pad as what it would have been for like Big Academy. So how do you feel this move is going to impact Swedish CS? Because now what do we have? Like Eyeballers, which is JW and Flush's project, like Finest, Twists and Kriaz. Like what are we talking about now?
I don't know. I'm pretty confused about this move. I don't get it. I think this is a bad move. Oh, I'll just say I think it's a bad. I don't think First of all, like what Taco was saying, like you can say Plopsky, not the best player in the world, obviously, not top 20, not top 50 probably, but Aleksib is just going to take his roles, or how is Hampus going to take his roles?
Well, no,
Definitely
Esatag's
not.
going to go to Plopsky's roles. Rez is going to go to
How's gonna-
Esatag's roles.
I know Rez is opping, like, but
Yeah.
this is now like we're seriously now doing this. This is like where we're seriously doing. We're trying to convince us all that Rez is going to be an opper now.
But
this
this
is-
team won't be good for the next 6 to 12 months if they stick with this roster, which they
They're
haven't
never
shown.
gonna. They're never gonna be good, as they've always been average, okay,
We've been
overperforming.
baited by them a few times now.
So what are we even expecting for this team to exist? They're doing that.
I don't know.
They will do that. Like if they want to be they just signed a fucking Broland for $500,000. Are
Yeah.
they now just gonna be a top 10 borderline team? Like what is this? For me, it's super weird. Also, like the whole thing about Broland moving from Fnatic to NIP was to speak in Swedish, and now they're not speaking Swedish anymore.
Well, but I don't believe that. Do you believe that's why he left Fnatic? I don't believe that for a
no,
minute.
but
I think he left Fnatic because there was some players in the team that he didn't like playing with.
But I also heard that his English communication wasn't the best. That's what I heard.
Well,
So
look, from I'm not going to name any names.
that's
here, Madam.
obviously not the main reason he left.
Yeah.
First of all, like the org was not in a great spot. The team was kind of in disarray completely, but definitely played a part in the whole thing. And now we have, okay, maybe Hampus is not the best IGL in the world, but it's also just we spoke about this. Like it's weird to actually have a former IGL stay on the team and leave the IGL role to someone else. I feel like this is not something that you get over quite quickly.
All right.
It takes some adaptation there.
Look, you've taken the side here of the negative Nancy, which is fine. We definitely need a negative Nancy in our lives. But Striker, do you want to try and be the positive Pete?
Yeah,
Or do you want to
sure,
give it
because
because everything he's saying is right, but we could also frame it from
As
a positive
always.
angle too.
no, of course. I mean, the positive angle and the reason why they're even doing it, and I can just pretty much paraphrase what they said, why they wanted to make the move, right? Which is basically to open up Hampus, which I mean makes perfect sense to me. He's always been a bit of an X Factor player, but being bogged down within game leadership is not the easiest thing to do when you're also kind of like an X Factor player. So I think actually for him it's going to be a good thing. I don't know how much for the team as a whole, with them having to change a lot of things, moving international. But I mean, from that angle, I kind of like it for Hampus's sake, just for him being more of an individual player rather than having these responsibilities. From the Rez perspective, I mean, it is kind of like the last thing that I would want to give him, just to see if he does have another level, because he's been kind of always in a place where we think he can do more, but he never got there. And so like to see him try something new, I mean, it's obviously a massive gamble. Like there's no question about it. That's just fact. Like you can't just become a primary opera and just obviously expect.
Give me an
expect
example.
to be great one immediately, right?
Well, Device and Cajun B back in the day both used to AWP when they were TSM and question mark and everything, right?
Yeah,
I mean
Device
to be a
Device
hybrid,
actually Device actually transitioned from rifling to hopping. That's
the
for
only
sure.
example I can
But
give you.
that was also kind of early into his career, not like 5 years. Like this was 2015, I think, when
How old is Rez?
when he went, so like 2-3 years into his actual like professional career. And he also like flirted with hopping, so maybe similarly to Rez. Has been playing for like 2017 in NIP. There's like 5 years now, and he's now going to become an opper. I don't see that.
True.
I mean,
Just
it is
Brokey.
ambitious.
People
Go
are
ahead.
saying Brokey was secondary hopping always. Sirison is an example. That's a legit example though.
Okay.
He
I mean,
started
Brokey is a
hopping.
legit example too. He used to be a rifler. I mean, he never was an opera at first.
I mean, he secondary.
Not in
hopped.
phase. In phase, he originally was just a rifler. Maybe a slight secondary opera, but he was never geared towards operating at first.
because they wanted all of the op. Like in
No,
Epsilon,
even
he
in
wasn't.
FPL and stuff like that. Like he was never supposed to be an opera.
Imagine opping in FPL.
we get Heckle on the phone to give us the
no, but
the
like in
Latvian-
Epsilon, he was a secondary opping. Like he was kind of support hopping thing.
Yeah, I mean, but Rez has been secondary opping occasionally too. It's not like it's an entirely
Yeah.
new thing to him. But that's what we were saying, right? Like it's just different to be a secondary opera from a primary opera. You just enter a completely different level. You have to know all of the angles, and you have to know what the other opera is doing all the time, and make sure that you have the upper hand in whenever it does come to a certain
Head-up
like
duel,
head-up duel,
Yeah.
or to avoid it, because you generally that just goes very randomly, and who wins that duel. So there's just so much more that you have to learn about the game to be a primary opera, that it is just difficult to transition into one.
What were you going to say, Taco?
Well, I was just going back a little bit on the topic, still NIP, of course, but
Mm.
if I was NIP, I don't know why they don't get these guys like Forest or Get Right or Exist or these Swedish legendary players. I don't know why they don't get them around. I think they could add a lot for these young players like Brolan or I mean the NIP players, and I think that they could be very important for them. Not in a player's role, but maybe coach or I mean they should get these guys around. They won before. They know how to win. It's important. I think so at least.
Forrest is a free agent, right? Forrest is a free agent for the first time in his career, right? That was a genuine name which we like threw around for a while there. But
yeah, but
the thing
he
is-
doesn't strike me as like a mentor figure, you know. At the same time, he's more like a guy who just has a good personality to have around and can still shoot heads even in an advanced age for an esports player, right?
Yeah, well, he loves playing, right? He's streaming it every day,
Yeah.
almost every day. So I just think like for me, the problem is every time it's felt like we've almost gotten there for NIP and we're like, oh shit, like this is it. They're almost, and then something happens, right? Like the last year with or more now with the whole device situation, and then like LNZ, ZTR, Fozy, like it was always academy players, and then I don't know, man.
I mean,
like,
the thing for me is they didn't really solve a problem. They added, instead of having one problem, which is before the opping, and maybe some other interpersonal roles, not performing players, instead of having one problem, now they had two, because they also have a new IGL trying to implement a new system, because Aleksib is not going to call like Hampus did. So you have that on top of a player that's trying to become an opper. And yeah, there are a couple of examples. Mantu, kind of an example. Searson. I still don't agree on the Brokey one, because also he was like 18 when he joined the team. So that's completely different. This is like his start. But it rarely happens. So it's, again, just a wait and see, like 6+ months that you actually have to
it'll be
give.
6 months, yeah.
You need to give this roster actual 6 months, not like 3 months and then one academy player joins in, then like one guy takes sick leave, some guy, I don't know, they swap roles again or something like that. We actually need a lot of time for this roster to
yeah.
I mean,
like-
I will take this from another angle, which is from Aleksib, and I mean, for him, it's obviously an amazing move, because like, what other top 10 team would take Aleksib at this point, right? Like that's basically the only team, the
I
only
didn't
option.
think he was going to get a team
That's
until
exactly
after
he
this
basically
season.
didn't have options until after the major, you know, when, you know, potentially people like, you know, I don't want whoever, you know, like OG or whoever else would be looking for
G2
there you go.
He
If
goes
G2
back.
doesn't work out, he just goes back. No, but like, yeah, I was surprised to see him land the team. So for him, this move is obviously going to be great. It's obviously going to be kind of like a lot of people are going to be like, is this the team that he can actually work in, you know, after, you know, a couple of attempts that, you know, where he was maybe okay in OG, but not amazing, and then obviously failed in G2. So how is it going to work out this time? That's kind of the question for me.
Well, there's a few gambles, right? Here,
yeah.
let's just put it this way: the gamble is Hampus has to become a star rifler, right? And which, if he has the same numbers as he was doing when he was in like peak form, then yeah, he can be a star rifler for the team. The next gamble is that Aleksib can actually call in this roster, as you just prefaced, and then the third and biggest gamble is if Rez can actually be an AWPer. And if they can pull off all of those things, then the team has merit. Brolin's a strong rifler. Esatag's always been very selfless and doing everything for the team that's
just
possible.
One last thought with Hampus, aggressive player, Brolin, aggressive player,
but
what?
Yeah, I was gonna. Hampus is aggressive, but then he lurks. He takes the space and then he lurks. He's not just like go go go. He can be.
But
like,
isn't Aleksib also a guy that likes to like make plays and himself, like in the lead like that? I feel like that is also like a weird dynamic that they have now.
He didn't do that a lot in G2 eventually. Like I think he kind of moved away from that, from doing as much of that at least. So I feel like that is something that he's kind of gotten used to a little bit more now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying there, Prof. I think it's just going to be hard to see how they balance all this. But we could go fucking around.
I think it is better. I think it is a better fit in terms of like how they can work these pieces around than Plopsky was, because I know that Plopsky, he was kind of moved from a lot of passive roles, or rather he started out as kind of like an aggressive player in NIP, and then he was moved into a lot of the anchory roles and much more passive. And I think it was always clear that it wasn't really fitting for him. And I know lately they've tried to make him a little bit more aggressive, and it didn't really work out. At least it didn't really have much of an effect on his numbers. And so like, if I feel like from that point of view, he did like his place on the roster ran its course. and he does need to be somewhere else for a time to get his confidence back, to find his play style and stuff like that. So I feel like he was always going to be the piece that's going to go out to make space for somebody. But of course, I mean, in an ideal world, they would just fix the one problem that we all knew they had and just go international with an Alper, right? Rather than create all these potentially additional problems.
Yeah. All right. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with NIP. We'll keep a watchful eye out at the RMRs. Let's jump forward here to talk about our other favorite team, Astralis. Lucas, I just sent you a tweet. Bring this one up ASAP.
While we were waiting, I have to say, no. coldzera tweeted that he's streaming, but his stream is not on. So that's kind of funny.
Okay. He was streaming yesterday. I was watching. I think he was streaming yesterday. I don't know what it's got to do with today.
Well, I guess he's in the same room, Takwa is in.
Is that him right behind you?
He's right on my right side.
Well, tell him if he's streaming, we'll host him once we're finished.
Oh,
I don't want to clog the airways. I wanted to make sure he can hear him.
He's not saying anything.
No,
He's
but
saying something.
he can
but
hear. Tucker can hear us. Yeah.
he said that he thought he was online.
There you go.
All right, probably helping him out.
Live tech support, man.
That's huge.
There we go.
Promise on the case.
But
Okay.
he said thank you for you guys.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll host it once we're finished here. All right, let's jump back to the tweet. Fucking hell, I'm all over the place tonight. Sorry, everybody. Where are we at here? Oh, the news from Astralis today. So,
I didn't see this tweet.
So this is twice within basically a year that poor config has broken something. He
I
broke
love how the tweet starts. Great.
the poor guy, man. I can picture him saying it too. Great. Surgery needed, and the doctors tell me I won't be able to sit upright for long periods of time for the next 10 to 14 days. Good luck, Mister, who is standing in for config at the RMRs. He's from the academy roster, or the Astralis talent as they're known. That's like a massive blow for Astralis to take after just missing out by one map and a pretty close map from being in the playoffs of EPL. And now config's gone and basically twice in the span of 12 months injured himself again. He's got brittle bones. Does he need more milk or something? What's going on? How's he broken an ankle and he can't sit? That's fucking crazy.
That's the weird part, right? I thought it was just going to be okay. He just needs a lot of rest for 2 weeks or whatever. It's just he can't sit upright when he has a fractured ankle. That's got to be a really fucking
Pretty bad
injury,
break
to be
then.
honest. Yeah.
Any doctors in the chat?
Yeah. I feel like that's got to be pretty serious if he can't even sit upright.
Well, yeah. This is basically just the news. I don't know what we're meant to talk about from here. I guess we had to bring it up. There's conspiracy theorists out there.
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, the last time config broke something, he ended up in Astralis. So that's the whole conspiracy theory that he's changing teams again. That's not happening. But I think the biggest part we can talk about is just how bad this is for Astralis, because this is 2 weeks before the RMR, where they're playing for qualification for the major, and it's obviously not an easy group that they're in. I mean, either of them would be pretty hard if you're not playing with your full roster. And this is a guy that, even though he was inconsistent, he was always, when Astralis were good, it was always through him kind of having that extra level that they actually reached kind of like deep runs, like semifinals in Cologne and things like that, where he was contributing a lot. And to see a guy from Astralis talent whose input or output is pretty bad for tier 3 level, and to take his place is obviously a massive blow.
It's
What are you
big
smiling
opportunity.
about, Chad?
I'm smiling because wouldn't have this been an opportune time to have Bubsky still on the bench? He would be the perfect fit for config now in this situation. Actually. He would be a great replacement in this scenario.
We
if they still
discussed
had
this
him.
topic when the first HLTV confirmed.
Oh, really?
I was in. Yeah.
We've come full circle. Bubsky's back on the tip of the tugs.
Hey guys,
dear.
don't hate on Mister. He plays in my league. He's good. He had a whole TV show around him at one point. Yeah,
we need a bit more context.
There was like a TV show in Denmark that was like following the school environment we have here in Denmark. Like you can take your education while playing esports, and it was like following one of these schools where he played on the team. And like the big finale was him getting signed to Astralis.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was doing like a Love Island or something.
No,
like,
no.
Okay. All
People
right,
are
fair
saying
He's
it's like
a big
FNX's
movie.
show.
He's from
Maybe
the big
different,
screen.
different caliber of show, I think. Different audience for that one. All right,
Less expect for sure.
We don't need to stick on this one for long. We can talk about Astralis more once we talk about EPL, so that's okay. Let's jump into this N1 moment. Lucas, do you have the N1 moment ready and raring to go?
Yeah, of course.
Whoa.
Phil.
That's all right. This is where I throw it over to you, Prof. You're the curator of the N1 moment. What have you selected for us this week?
I have selected a highlight that might have been from this year or from 10 years ago because Edward's USP-S. The craziest thing is, like, you never see people actually just crouch, sit in one spot, and kill 4 people
Until
like
now.
Until you saw it in 1.6 with the Tuscan Ace, and now in a few moments you will see it again because it's just so crazy. I mean, I know it's a fun match and people are peeking him, and
It wasn't
this.
much fun for Warro, mate.
Oh, okay.
Clearly not.
But still, like, he just sits there and kills everyone. Like, usually you just get pre-fired and destroyed, but no, he's playing this like 5-pixel angle and killing people.
It was fun just to watch, right? Like it's an orange map. It's Edward. It's a USP.
Classic. That's classic.
That's what we want. That's what we want right there. But that's I guess the N1 moment for this week. Did it make you feel nostalgic, Prof?
No, I didn't watch 1.6, so I can't be nostalgic about that.
Oh,
I'm
Okay.
actually very grateful that I had the chance to play against all these legends. Edward, Markelov, even Markelov in the
Flipside days, right?
Flipside
Yeah.
days. We used to bootcamp in SK in Cologne, and they used to rent Flipside used to rent the room next to us at SK's office. So I had few chats with Markelov. He's a super nice guy, and I'm just grateful that I had the chance to in my career to play, talk, discuss CS, talk CS with these guys. Edward is a absolutely legend, and I respect him a lot. It was actually good to see him doing these headshots.
Yeah, it's good. Look, he's back streaming again today. I think I saw. So it's fun. Like, there's a lot of these guys who are still who are starting up streaming, like Get Right and Freiburg. Obviously, Forrest doing it. There's a lot of people from like Pasha, as we all know. It's fun that these people are still involved. And that actually brings us, Taco mentioned Legends, to the Kinguin Legends event. Now, it was a charity event, right?
I don't think it was a charity event.
Why? Who told me it was a fucking charity?
I think it was- I
didn't
don't
think it
know
was a
about
charity
exhibition.
event. And
I
someone
think it
told me
was
it was a charity event.
I think it was exhibition event.
Okay. Well, either way,
Fun.
So much event, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
it was an event that brought together a bunch of legends, and there's a whole plethora of different teams. Let me just bring it up so I can get the list correct for everybody.
Keaton, Kenny S had a team. Michael
Neo.
had.
Neo's was the most OG.
Was it?
Well, yeah. Until Tutson came in, like Neo's was their actual like mega OG team because he had
Hudson, Neo,
Guardian.
Forest, Freiburg.
he was supposed to have Guardian, but then Tutson came in instead of him. So that would have been a really cool team to watch in general. But I mean, still was.
Well, I think they need to maybe tighten the rules a little bit because I don't think that it should like have allowed so many current active professionals to be competing or even semi-pros. Like some of the names that were in the like Boros
I agree
just
with that.
carrying Makalele's team. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like Devil.
So,
Walk in there.
they ruined
Big
your
respect.
dream of having what's the
The
whole
WWE. Yeah.
Retirement.
I mean,
circus.
when you watch those football matches, the legend ones, you see Zidane, you see Ronaldo, and a lot of legendary players. You don't put Messi to play against them, you know?
That's kind of what we did here. So
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah, maybe they have to make the rules a little bit tighter. Maybe we can have a word. But I think if you're Kinguin and you have the opportunity to have simple streaming your tournament, you'll probably take it.
Yeah, you might as well take the 50,000 people who are going to watch him do it, you know, just on his own stream, even if you're not getting any numbers from it, you know.
So, Prof, why did you give us this topic here this evening? Because this isn't something I would normally want to talk about.
I just throw in a soft serve to see if anyone's gonna latch on. But honestly,
nobody gives a shit, man.
Are we getting ice cream?
People soft serve.
After we finish, Lucas.
People
all right?
are actually very upset that Simple even got to play. People are like, oh my god, why is this? Why are you ruining the integrity of this tournament that I'm not going to watch anyway? That's kind of how people reacted. But the actual drama on Twitter between Vora and Simple, I have to say this is something that I did not expect to see in like ever almost. Like I felt like this was behind us essentially. This is so like low tier drama on Twitter between like the best player in the world and some guy that he actually picked as a bold prediction 2 years ago and said
that's right.
had a great future. It was insane. It was but it was nice. It was nice to have some refreshing drama. Like as I said, there was so much drama this week. You can pick and choose whatever you want.
Counter-Strike, Twitch streamers, whatever you want. Whatever
Twitter CEOs, everything.
I think World had the balls to go public against Simple, which is something we gotta respect because that's actually it's not easy to do that. He was honest and he just said what was in his mind. I have done this before on Twitter. I know I created a lot of dramas on Twitter, but that was 20 years old taco. I grew up a lot, so I can understand this, why this happened. The guy probably was mad at something, probably mad at Simple, not something. He was mad at Simple when he decided to tell the world about it. I don't judge him, and I don't think that it's a huge drama or something like that as well. I just think that that's something that happens and happened in that game, and the only thing that I think that is respectable is the guy going against Simple in public. I think that's you're gonna have balls to do that.
I agree with that.
I think this is the issue because it was being streamed and the team was all Ukrainian. I'm pretty sure. I didn't understand anything that was being said. Right, like tonally, maybe you can, but even then,
there are translations on YouTube. These clips. There's that one guy that translates like everything.
Can we move on from this, man? This is like
I'm just saying. I'm not gonna quote it now, but if people want to go and find it, you can find. I think.
Okay.
I don't know what.
Let's move on.
Let's do this. Let's do some research.
The next time they meet. Next time they meet, that's going to be amazing. So they're actually in the same group in the RMR, Monty, Warrior 2K, and the Navi. So maybe if God exists, we're going to have this game.
On land, that'd be fun. Okay, all right, that's nice.
I had my problems with Simple in the past as well. I mean, it's on the past, but it was, when I think about it, it was really fun. Funny, you know? How childish it was and how just, we were just two kids. We are friends nowadays. We talk and we have no problems with each other, of course. But I remember I almost did the same with Simple. I think it's 2015, 16, something like that. Simple has a strong personality, but he's a nice guy with a big heart, and definitely a great player. One of, if not the best, one of the best we ever saw.
Yeah, I think it attests to his competitive nature, if anything, right? And we're all here to be, well, you guys are playing. We're just talking about it. We're not so competitive over here. All right, let's jump forward into EPO before we lose Striker. We don't want to lose him here. Okay. Let's jump into talking about Group C, which for me, and I know now I will upset Striker, was a fun round robin.
No, I actually agree with that.
Hey, we got him just for one. Now, this for me is just like if every group could just have the level of competition as what this group had, and we fixed the little 3-way tie or 5-way tie that we spoke about a couple of episodes ago, and you could have a best-of-1 playoff thing, then maybe we're getting somewhere. So, first of all, we need more competitive teams, like getting 0-0 Nation and OG and shit into this type of event so that we can actually get, unlike Group A and Group B that were a bit... Group C, though, which is where we're focusing here, was great. So I want to summarize it for everybody on the teams who progressed, and then we can talk about the different bits and bobs. So MOUZ topped the group with a 4-1 record. Heroic came second with a 4-1 record, but due to head-to-head, that's why they were second. And then Complexity snuck through by the good graces and some good Counter-Strike, but they needed Heroic to beat Astralis. That means Astralis, ENCE, and HEET didn't make it. So let's start with MOUZ. Let's start with MOUZ here because they had just recently added Exertion to the team, Prof. And obviously we know that the trifecta of the MOUZ and XT guys were over there. And I don't think that, when we spoke, we didn't speak about last week, which means we didn't do the, okay. Well, my expectations for MOUZ, I wasn't going to expect them to perform immediately. Like I wasn't going to be like, I don't think they're going to top the group. No. Like, I was like, I'm interested to see what they have. They're probably Dexter now has to start again with a new player. So I didn't have expectations. What was your expectations for MOUZ? What were you happy with that you saw?
Same. It's not even like what even are the expectations, even if they are like performing, right? You don't really expect them to be like don't expect them to top the group, even though the group is kind of, you know, all over the place. There wasn't a clear favorite as there were in previous groups. It was a bit more murky about who was really good. I think them going through would be like a positive surprise or like slight maybe or performance. What they showed was pretty good, like not pretty good. I'd say amazing, honestly, considering kind of what this team is, who they signed, who they added to the team. I think Exertion started like super hot early on.
He
The
did,
first series.
yeah. Dust 2 that Heroic picked.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that about?
That was just like a curveball to start things off. So
Yeah.
that was a nice start. I think that meant a lot, just getting the momentum, beating Heroic, like a team that's, you know, is pretty good regardless of their ranking. And then after that, there was like Frozen, just like consistently performing. He is for me like the standout from MOUZ. Other players showed up here and there, and that was it. I don't know. I didn't catch all of their games, but overall, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a proof of concept for why they even made this change in the first place. Because I mean, the biggest reason why they made it was kind of like to open up Frozen specifically and to have him have some of these roles that were previously taken up by Bimas, and having Exertion be more of an aggressive piece. And I mean, he held his own. I mean, he just didn't really have bad maps from what I saw. He had a couple of highlight maps as well, and so like he slotted into that role pretty quickly, it seemed, and it did do them good in what they were planning on. So it seems like, at least for the time being, it looks like it's working, which is, you know, obviously a great sign for them, you know, leading up to the RMR, to the major already, and obviously the playoffs themselves, you know, maybe they're going to do some damage there. That's pretty much my view. I mean, I saw maybe 3 of those 5 games, I think, from MOUZ, and I was just pleasantly surprised with how quickly they moved these pieces around.
Sure. I know Dexter wasn't too happy after the Astralis loss that they had, which was the second game, but then they bounced back and they looked more like they did in that opening match against Heroic for the next 3. They took down ENCE in 2-0 fashion, then they beat Complexity and HEET 2-1 in both of those respective games. Now, Taka, before you mentioned JDC, you were comparing him to RPK. Have you watched a lot of did you watch the recent MOUZ games at all? And what do you make of this roster overall? Because it's a pretty young team.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think the only problem they're gonna face is the experience. I mean, the experience of being on a playoff, the experience of being on a stage with the crowd and stuff like that happening. I think that's the only problem they're gonna face in the future. They have a great lineup, in my opinion. They have good players. They have a good system. They play good CS. I didn't want to talk too much about. I mean, we played few maps against them last week. So we kind of knew that they would look good on Group C. Even coldzera was telling me, man, I'm excited to see MOUZ play because they're playing good. I'm liking what I'm watching, and myself as well. It's just likewise. I think they're playing good CS, and they have a lot of good players. They have JDC, which is a great player in my opinion. He's a role player. It feels like the guy, he does the job as well. He's really good, at least from what I was watching, and not only in this tournament, but the last tournaments they played, Cologne as well. I think the guy's good, so they have a very, very good group to work with. It feels like their attitude of the players, and it feels like they play with happiness, and they are there doing something they really like to do. So I see MOUZ also doing some damage in the future, but the only problem that I see them facing in the future is in terms of experience and playing on the stage, playing playoffs, and playing against great teams that are used to this kind of atmosphere. So I see good things in the future for MOUZ.
Yeah, probably a good thing they made the playoffs here, so they can. I think that there's meant to be a very small audience here in Malta, but less about the audience and more about just like playoff and more high stake games for this roster early is probably a really good thing in the lead into the RMR and then the major not too far away. This like on ramp we have now is much different to how we used to have it previously. I would say pre-COVID is probably the best, like the post-COVID era, which we're in now. There's not as many events back to back anymore. Like teams aren't going just from event to event, and if you fuck up and you don't make the finals of the event this week, well then the event in 2 weeks time you make the finals, right? It's not like that anymore. It's a bit more of a lead time into all these events. So yeah, experience is a big one there. Speaking of experience, it was everybody's first experience at seeing the new ENCE roster. Now, I think we had Valda on the show. I wouldn't say he was tight-lipped, but he wasn't going to come out here and give us all of his strategies, right? So we didn't really know what to expect from ENCE. We knew they were plugging and playing some Pius into the Hades with obviously AWP, right? That makes a lot of sense. But then the question was anybody going to be able to, as even a collective, right, get a bit more out of Madden, get a bit more out of Diha, get a bit out of Valda, and try and cover what Spinks had left? And this is the fact that it was their first event. They got 5 best of 3s in, but not a single best of 3 they played went 3 maps, and they only beat HEET. So it's not a great look, but at the same time, it's pretty much an entire new team, right? Because Spinks was the star player and Hades was that's 2 of the biggest pillars in the entire squad. So for ENCE here, I'm not going to be a harsh critic, but I think this is now just a rebuilding process again, because this article that came out, was it another Nero article? The one that you guys put out recently with the changing of, he loves doing those. But the thing that like catapulted ENCE to being, let's not say a trophy contender, but they were like a top 3 team in the world. Well, I guess that makes them a trophy contender. That change came when they replaced Dota with Madden. That was just one change. Everybody else had been playing with each other for actually a decent period of time before that, right? So now that they've changed 2, if we're going by Nero's article, it is going to take some time for them to build back in and for them to get the most out of all of their players here. So
I mean, the struggle, the caveat to that would be that they didn't make one of those changes on purpose, right? Like they were forced to make one of those and they lost the key piece, right? That they wouldn't have otherwise wanted to change.
Very true.
So that is I think that is kind of like the biggest issue that I saw with them almost, which was just nobody was there to step up. I mean, you saw some Pyos just having some of these aggressive moves, and I kind of liked what I saw from him because, I mean, he just showed the same kind of play style that we saw from him from Movistar, being pretty much a safe opera, but just knowing when to take risks and knowing when to take an aggressive peak. I just really like watching him for that, because he just has that balance. You can tell that he does think like a star, because he just knows, he just has a feeling for what he's supposed to do. But other than that, we just didn't really see really big maps from anybody. I mean, Diha was pretty consistent overall, but everybody else was just at best average. He just didn't have any great performances. So that almost feels like that is the biggest challenge that ENCE are going to have now. Like, are they going to have people to step up to make up for Spinks missing?
I think like that was always the question, right? And I don't know, like I feel like I've brainwashed myself recently, but I feel when teams made roster changes back in the day, we didn't expect anything to happen. Like we were like, oh, this is going to take time. They've just changed a player because but now I feel that and maybe this again is to do with the post-COVID era. There's less events, so teams are maybe expected to be able to get into things quicker now, which feels counterintuitive to say. I don't know, Taka. What do you make of ENCE and the scenario with changing 2 players and this performance at Pro? Do you think it's cause for concern? Do you think just needs more time? How do you view something like this?
Well, definitely, in my opinion, they need more time. It's very, very recent news, but also I think that it has to do with the style they play. They play super aggressive, they play really fast as well. So it's a style that I don't think playing that style you can play consistent CS. You can be consistently a great team. I like a lot the ideas they have. I watched ENCE playing a lot. I like Snappy as an in-game leader. I have a lot of ideas that came from him as well. But the style they play as a team is very aggressive. It's very fast, and it's also always the same pace. So I don't, in my opinion, in my mind, I don't think a team that plays that way can be consistently good, consistently great. So yeah, I think it has definitely they need more time. I mean, I imagine that for some players, it's also pretty difficult, because when I joined Liquid, the first event, I had a month of practice. My English was not that bad at the time. I could speak English, but I was doing better in the practice and everything. But when it came to the tournament, to the actual tournament, when it's match, when it's a match, official match, then it became more difficult to communicate in English because you are more nervous. There's more things that you are worried about. I imagine that for him was really difficult. So and we're talking about a guy that is Alpine, right?
Sure.
He has a lot of impact in the game, not only for him but for his team. So I think that definitely they need time. Some players also need time, and in my opinion, there is also this thing with the style they like to play CS.
Okay. All right. Are we all on that page, boys? Do we think time? Because I know you're mentioning the worries there, but like the season, it's not over when the major ends, but it's going to end very quickly after the major, right?
I
So
mean, yeah, especially
yeah.
if you're not a blast team, so
yeah.
you can't qualify.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't place last in a group stage to get 7,000 points.
Yeah, I forgot.
There's a
about
funny
that.
comment when we were talking about the blast major. Someone in chat said, "So is Snappy banned from attending?"
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess all the eggs are in the RMR basket to turn it around. The good thing for ENCE is I suppose they now have a very good idea of what they need to work on in that amount of time. I think if they go and they grind out these next couple of weeks and know that that's basically the end of the season there, I think they're still in good stead to qualify for the major. It's just about how deep that run in the major will be, right?
They have the finish event after the major, right after Elisa.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Bit there. All right. Do we want to talk about ENCE more or keep jumping around these teams?
Let's move on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost 10 already.
Yeah, I thought I'd keep it to 2 hours again, but I've actually fucked up.
I mean, you were talking about them qualifying for, like, look at their group, man. Like, there's a lot of teams that I could see making it over them after the CPL run, honestly. Like, especially with how...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because there's Navi, Heroic, Big Outsiders, Vitality, MOUZ, OG. Like, those are just teams that could easily go make it over them. And that's 7 teams already.
Yeah, true.
So, like, there's one upset and they are just out, you know?
Yeah. All right.
So it's not going to be an easy run for sure.
Well, let's talk. Like, this is the thing. We still have Heroic, Complexity, Astralis, and HEET. No offense to the French. Let me do HEET quickly. HEET showed some signs of promise. I think after the first couple of games, they were able to shake off the fact that a few of them aren't used to this type of environment. Once they had done that, started to see how good like players like Afro can be. Jocko's pretty sharp. He didn't necessarily have the best of times, but I think that for a first event, not too shabby.
I mean, it's not his first event. I feel like...
No, but like of this caliber, being I know Double Pony, I know all that shit.
RMR isn't the RMR the same? This is
5 best of 3s.
I feel like RMR groups are more important than EPL groups.
But that's 2 best of 1s and 1 best of 3.
Whatever, they were close.
I'm talking about quantity of games.
In terms of what's more important, I mean, that's pretty obvious, right?
Sure. Yeah, you're right. The RMR is definitely more important. That's not a question. But in terms of like, where the
So what was the angle exactly you were going for? I kind of dozed off. I was looking at the team.
The angle I'm building for this team, right, and this is what I tried to do during the broadcast, was the fact this is like the only French team at the moment that is probably up there. I know we have Falcons. I know we have a couple of these other names, but for HEET, it's looking at the Blast Major in Paris, right? Like that should be where they're ramping for. But I think they've already played in this environment now. They'll play in this environment again for the RMR. And if they play like they did in the last 3 best of 3s as opposed to the first 2 best of 3s, there's a chance they could sneak through and get one of those top 8 spots. Definitely. And they didn't have a lot of time with Jax beforehand, Body was saying, to get things comfortable. So, look.
I'm going to be the super boring analyst, but I really think they need like a strong star rifler on this team. And I don't think Joko is cutting it. I don't think Body is it. I don't think Jax is it. Who's the 5th? I forgot now. He's also not
Xtrfy.
Yeah, he's also not it. So I feel like Afro as the upper pretty good, but I feel like they just lack actually like individually strong players on the lineup. Because like their early moves in the rounds were pretty interesting and good, but then they would just lose like a 5v3 as someone
they did
walks
have a
into
couple of bad rounds.
You know, this is just like where individual skill and, you know, understanding of the game comes into play. And I feel like they need to be better there. That also comes with team play, but I feel like, they just need like a star. They need an upgrade for Paris to be relevant in Paris, let's say.
All right, let's do this. Does anyone want to do cliff notes on these last 3 teams? So the Astralis one we already touched on a bit, right? Farley wasn't the problem for Astralis. That's for sure.
For once, yeah.
So that and they still didn't qualify, which is a little bit unfortunate. The
That is
biggest
tragic,
issue,
man. Like he has his best event in Astralis probably ever, and
he
they
looked
don't even
pretty gutted
qualify.
afterwards. Him and Trace, they looked the most gutted out of everybody.
I mean, they
afterwards when the
were
camera
close.
was
I
on
mean,
them.
to be fair, like all their losses were 2-1s, and they had some couple of close maps that decided it. So obviously, it wasn't a terrible showing from Astralis overall, but it was obvious, like with Farley looking like a sniper that can actually have a lot of impact, they just should have qualified, honestly.
Yeah, well, they lost to. This is the biggest issue: is the fact they lost to Complexity and Heat, right?
Yeah.
Whereas they had beaten MOUZ and they beaten ENCE, which you would have thought had been the hard work. And then obviously that game against Heroic, which was the derby there that went all the way, 19-17, 16-12, 16-13. So pretty close.
That was a cool game.
But speaking of Heroic, Taco, you were talking about ENCE playing like a faster style and that being hard to like capture and always be performing at a high level with that style. Like Heroic can be pretty like fast and all over the place, right? They can be very explosive. They can be very proactive, very reactive. Well, what do you make of Heroic? Do you think they're more well-rounded than an ENCE in that type of a style? Do you put them in a similar category as a team like ENCE, or are they a completely different beast?
I think they play different. I would put them in a different pot, in a different place than ENCE. I like the way they play. Actually, they have smart stuff. They also bring new stuff to the game, which shows that the players are, and coaches and everyone around the team is constantly working hard to get this new stuff. So I wouldn't say that Heroic, even though they play more aggressive and they play more reactive, like you said, I wouldn't put them together with ENCE. I think they play in a different style.
Okay, all right. And then let's just quickly touch on Complexity here. I made a tweet saying HooXi brings the team attitude. I think that's inside and outside the server. I think the types of peaks that he would be going for in the fights, I don't know if we would get them from Junior, and if we did, maybe he wouldn't convert. Well, he definitely wouldn't convert. I think that was an issue that everybody had noted with Complexity for some time. But then obviously the mullet and the mustache, and he's yelling. He doesn't have any issues teabagging Katie and getting stuck in, and it felt like it was bringing it out of some of the other lads as well. Like not necessarily the antics, but getting fired up. Grim had some good showings. I think Fang had some good showings. Floppy had some good showings. So this Complexity roster, they've had the core have had a long time, well, a decent amount of time together now to build into things. And if HooXi was the missing piece, it's kind of nice for him to go from Dignitas now onto this team that's partner of both Blast and ESL, right? So now he gets to show what he's got. We get to see a bit more HooXi on the main screens. So I'm excited to see more.
It's early days still, but you can see just how big of a difference in replacing like objectively not a good performing Opper for an okay one. Because HooXi also isn't some like fucking superstar or anything close to that.
He's what they could afford.
But yeah, but it's just like how that elevates the whole team, just like one upgrade. So now they look like a team that, you know, you go into the server with the chance to lose instead of what was before, like kind of felt free for everyone facing them almost.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump into Group D. Let's just cover off Group D, and then we're pretty good. Then we're done. Yeah. Oh, we want to do a fantasy check, or
we can. We don't have to.
All right, cool.
We don't have to.
All right, Lucas, I'm going to give you the link. Take a quick look at this one right here, and I can put it in the group for everybody else so we can have a look.
Yeah, the colors are hilarious for this group.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody on Reddit's talking about. But this group, for everybody playing at home, maybe you're not watching on the visuals, you're listening in the podcast format later. It is Cloud9, Movistar, Riders, Liquid, Furia, Evil Geniuses, and Eternal Fire. Now, I feel like this group is really hard to call, boys. Does anybody want to dispute who the top three are going to be in this one?
Look, I mean, Liquid obviously is going to be. I think Liquid are coming as a favorite at the moment, just as with what they've been showing and with Yekindar. Cloud9 is, I mean, it's got to be the second one, right? And then the third spot is, I think, where we can have a lot of discussion about who is going to step up, right? Because Furia haven't looked great. Movistar just lost their star Opera, right? So they're just coming in with a new lineup.
Movistar definitely finishing last year. Like anyone thinking differently.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you think
it can happen. EG is also there. Actually.
I was just going to say, like,
I feel like Eternal Fire, they're gonna get the win over one of these teams for sure. But Movistar have been playing atrociously since the swap. So if they show better results here, I'd be very shocked.
They've added Martinez, right? So that's the replacement for some pies there.
Where did they play before? They played in something. They bombed out,
They played
right?
some like super small tournament and lost to like a Estonian team.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah, the
was
Steel
checking
Series
their
no
results.
lockup. Yeah.
It's not great. But Tacos, have you practiced against Movistar riders in the time you've been in Europe?
Yeah, I'm afraid of talking about these stuffs because I don't want to
Sure. Give too much away.
give too much away. I mean, not only about myself, but for them as well. We played a few maps against Movestars. We played a few maps against Cloud9, Liquid, Furia, EG, and Eternal Fire. We actually played against them as well. Liquid, Furia, and EG. We didn't play because we are in Europe, but we played against these 3 teams.
So give us the top. Give us your top 3 then when you've played against everybody.
Well, Cloud9 is gonna win this group.
Okay.
People is underestimating EG, but I think with Automatic they can win some BO3s and maybe do something different. Of course, it's gonna be difficult for them because I'm not sure if they're practicing in EU. I don't know about their schedule.
They've been here in Malta for about a week before the group stage. So they're at the hotel, and they've had a practice room the week in the lead up. So they've been here for at least a week.
Yeah, they changed the lineup as well. I think that Neelan adds something different for them. Also, Hext, is that how you pronounce his nickname? I think he also is a good potential. The guy is good. I think Breeze is also a good player. Cirque. I mean, they have good players and they have a good team. I think if they get their shit together, they can also do some damage. Movie stars were not looking really good on the RMRs, right? They were not playing really good chess.
Yeah.
It's sad. They were playing super good at IEM Cologne, and their city sides was one of the highlights that when I told you guys that I watched every IEM Cologne demo. Movistar's rider city sides were. I mean, I was very impressed with what I saw. They have so many options, so many setups, so many nades, so many new lineups. I learned a lot actually. So it's kind of impressive to see them not performing well. I mean, not performing as good as they were before. Not performing as good as they were before. It's difficult because they lost their star player and their sniper. Of course, they would have some problems to fix this, but I didn't expect them playing that bad. I expected Movistars to be playing a little bit better. But I see Cloud9 winning this group. I think EG have a chance. Furia is my top 2, and Liquid is my top 3.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think that like on paper, for a lot of people, this looks very clear, but it is a round robin group stage, and any fucking madness can happen here, right?
I mean, I think generally just between like Movistar, Furia, EG, and Eternal, I feel like those matches could just go any which way. I think at this point, almost.
Well, I think like Eternal Fire has some good results recently, right? They just added Major back to the team and they brought back in Paz. And it's good that they now have an in-game leader that wants to be an in-game leader, which is nice, right? But it's going to be interesting to see what we can get out of them in this event. They beat Entropic to qualify for Rotterdam just the other day. So that's a huge plus for them coming in here for at least the confidence. I did see that Major had lost his peripherals. Guys, I want to make this for everybody. Major should know better. He's 31. He's an old boy like me. He should know better. But if you're ever going to an event, even if it's like a fucking BOC LAN event, and it's like, I guess you wouldn't be going to a BOC LAN event on an airplane. Even if it's a small LAN that you're going to, please take your peripherals, all of them, your mouse, your keyboard, your mouse pad, your headset, a spare mouse too, if you can fit one in. Take it all in your carry-on luggage. Keep it with you at all times. Because the worst thing that can happen is you come to a country like Malta where we have one store that sells electronics and you're not gonna get your shit. It's not gonna happen. And if you want to get it posted, it's gonna take a week. So make sure you bring your gear with you because we don't want people not to have their gear. It's happened to a couple of players. So just wanted to make that message known. All right. Well,
yeah. One team that I'm excited about to watch is Fury. I think they had a lot of time to practice, and they're gonna bring new stuff. They are super fun to watch. They play super aggressive as well. So I think they're gonna bring
this Taco about them. Do you think they've changed their style a little bit, or is it going to be the same Fury? Are they just going to double down?
I don't think they changed their style. I don't think so. I think they would be the same Fury with different ideas and new stuff that they're gonna bring in on the server. I think they're gonna be it's gonna be super nice to super fun to watch Furia, at least in this Group D.
Yeah, it's been 2 months since they played their last game.
Crazy, right?
I think just like Cloud9, I don't think you can write them off. I think they'll do good. I think it's the 3 teams that are going to go through, with the 2 of them with Liquid. But I'm really excited for Eternal Fire. Just like looking at their results to qualify for Rotterdam, like the teams that they had to beat, not tier 1, but they beat Force, Sprout, One Win, and Entropic. Like this is like winning against all of these teams is pretty
Legit
good
wins, man.
Yeah, Static and Gamer Legion also for the RMR. So, and they're kind of new still, so I feel like they're still developing quite quickly.
And honestly, with when I did Eternal Fire at the last RMR, they just, in certain situations in the mid round, they look lost. So if Major has them even just a little bit more organized than they were there, it's like, okay, well, there's a plus. But yeah, this group should be fun with the type of Counter-Strike that could be played in this one. There's some specky names, some names that I think are going to light up the server in a fun way. Okay. Well, it's 12 past 10. Do we have much else we want to talk about, lads, or are we feeling good?
Maybe just a few questions for Taco. I don't know if you have anything else left.
Well, a lot of them I asked in the beginning.
Okay, play the intro.
Play the intro? The playtime intro? All right, I'm not the boss anymore. Lucas is the captain now. So we'll be playing the intro every week from now on. But if you are in chat right now and you have a question for Taco, you can start sending them through. We also have the thread on HLTV as well as the Twitter. Now, I asked you a similar question to this before, Taco. It was about dumau and him being one of the best Brazilian players. But somebody asked the question on Twitter. They were asking, in your opinion, who is the best Brazilian player at the moment?
The best Brazilian player at the moment, I would say Yuri from Furia. I think he's doing a great job there. I think for this year and last year as well, I think he's probably the best Brazilian player right now.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, him and Queserado as well as a duo is always really fun to watch. It definitely feels like Yuri's had a bit more consistency in that regard. Yeah,
Queserado is also a great player. I think it's just a matter of the style they play. I think I like Yuri's style more than Queserado's style, but they are both great players. I mean, probably top 1 and top 2 players in Brazil.
All right, that's good to have both of them on Furia then, I guess. What do we got here? People in chat, come on now. We're gonna play a talk.
I have one question. The question is about the state of Brazilian IGLs. And this is a question from Roque from Dust2 Brazil. He had a lot of different questions about this topic, but the one that kind of stood out is like, why aren't there new IGLs in Brazil? Like, even for kind of the new projects, it's always like kind of recycling the same kind of names. And like, what is the deal? Why aren't there more new IGLs coming through?
Well, I don't think it's only in Brazil. It's very hard to find good IGLs and people that want to be IGLs. I don't know why. I have no idea why, to be fair, but to be an in-game leader, you have to work more than everyone else, it feels like. And I don't think people like that. So
you don't get the credit either, do you? You probably put it, you do the work. You don't expect it. You're still expected to frag like everybody else, and you have to come with all the ideas and do all that kind of stuff. And then it's kind of a thankless job in a lot of ways.
How has it been for you so far? Like, it's been a while now that you've been IGLing for these teams. How do you like the role?
I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm learning a lot. I learned a lot as well in the past, and it just feels great when you call the right call. It feels terrible when you call the wrong call, but I'm getting there. I'm learning, and I'm watching and doing everything I can to be a better in-game leader every day, and not just an in-game leader, right? I think my role, at least in my team, is also being a leader outside of the game. So I want to give the guys a good example of how good it is to to work hard and accomplish good things in the future. So yeah, I would say that I'm enjoying a lot, even though I think that definitely I have to work much more than a normal player, not that a player that is not an in-game leader. I enjoy it a lot, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm enjoying my time as in-game leader, and I don't think I'm gonna change. I think that's my last role in the game. I don't have many years in front of me, but I'm enjoying a lot being the in-game leader and being the one behind the strategies and the calls and kind of guiding the team, and also I mean, I like to work, so yeah, I'm enjoying a lot.
What do you think has been the hardest part to get used to?
Well, I think you gotta be good at managing personalities and managing the players that you have in your team. That's something that I learned with the time, and I'm normally sociable. I like to talk and I like to understand people. So being the in-game leader, that plays a big role, you know, understanding your players, understanding people and knowing how to deal with them. I think that's the most difficult part, but I also like it. I love it, but it's difficult.
Okay. I'm looking at the questions here in Twitch chat. I quickly went through the HLTV thread. I went through Twitter as well. We covered a lot of the stuff that the people were asking already, just organically with the questions that we were going through.
Yeah. This we can close on this.
Okay.
Are HooXi's stocks higher than Aleksib's right now? HooXi, we didn't talk about Group B since we skipped that week.
That's right.
But people can't stop talking. Everybody asking, is HooXi the new Jesus?
The fanfare around HooXi is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's
amazing
like
how it turned,
G2
man.
meets the memes, and it just elevated it all. It was so good. Like the HooXi fanfare was my favorite. When I have like Twitch chat up just to see like what, because we're a bit ahead when we're commentating, right? I just want to kind of see what's going on. But when everyone's talking about HooXi all the time, always talking about HooXi. Mate, look, I just need to say, look, Scotty C17. Don't tell me this is the guy from the YouTube comments who says we're always trying not to talk about fucking G2. Mate, Jesus, Joseph and Mary.
Leave them alone. G2 has enough. They have enough problems.
They've
been talking. Everyone's talking about G2. We don't.
I want to just say something, all right? I just want to say I want to give everybody this keen piece of life.
Official
advice.
Take on.
No, it's not an official take. This is just on. There's been so much drama on the internet lately. This is just like a simple stuff for everybody to live their life by. The first thing, those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Really simple, right? Really simple. And the second is just stay in your lane. If you know something about something, then yeah, that's cool. If you like, let's just all just stay in our lanes, shall we? And those in glass houses shouldn't. Let's just use those two, frame our lives with them, and we'll get away. Everything will be fine. Everything will be good. Just they're simple. They're really simple. Okay, Taco, thank you for joining us tonight. I want to give you the floor right now to talk to the viewer at home, the fans, everybody. Say whatever you want to say if you've got anything to say.
Guys, again, it's a big pleasure for me to be here. It's always a nice talk. You guys understand a lot about CS, and I love talking CS. I think you do too. So it was nice. It was a great talk, and thank you everyone watching at home. Thank you everyone watching in Brazil. Thank you everyone that supports 00 Nation that is on the chat, and thank you everyone that watched that likes CS. So I'm also a huge fan of CS, and being here talking about everything and being honest about everything is really great for me as a player, and for me as part of the CSGO community. So thank you guys a lot. I promise that in the future I'm gonna give you some topics to discuss in this in this HLTV confirmed. I mean, I'm hoping you guys can talk how good we are in the future, how good 00 Nation will be in the future. And thank you guys a lot, and thank you again at home, everyone watching at home. Cheers, and enjoy the skin that I gave to you guys. That was 5 out of 5, you know.
It's just Martin. They aced it. The who wants to be a Skinionaire. All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight, Taco. Always a pleasure to have you on. And we look forward to seeing you in the RMRs in a couple weeks' time. But that's it from HLTV Confirmed again for another week. We'll be back next Monday as we're doing a show just before the playoffs for EPL. This has been episode number, I'm not sure. Good night.
Yeehaw!
Add some fun to your space with Xtrfy, designed in Sweden with focus on quality products built on experience. You're looking at Project 4, their 4th generation of products with super cool colorways to stand out, with matching sets to satisfy with a solid B4 bungee, lightweight ergonomic M4 mouse, the K4 keyboard is fantastic, all of which are performance focused, and finish it off with colorful GP4 mouse mats that are bold in design and smooth on the surface. The retro theme in particular has got the feels. Complete your setup with Xtrfy. No regrets, guaranteed.
Stuck ranking up? Lost the motivation to grind? Bored of clicking heads on AIM maps? Get some color into your game. Bitskins.com. Buying and selling skins made easy. Tons of payment methods and instant cash outs. Just choose your dream skins, select your preferred payment method, and start grinding again. If you want to play like the pros, you gotta look like the pros.
Do you feel it? N1Bet comes to brighten up your world. Play anytime, anywhere. Just go to n1bet.com and get your bonus with promo code HLTV. High odds and fast payouts. Playing is a pleasure when everything is clear. N1bet.com. Your bet, your game.